it's a Friday night flick and you know it's going down. Get your friends and your knives and let's have a good time. Got that blade click clacking and I'm ready to go. Gotta check the homie Micron to see what knives he's got.
I can't believe it's Friday and we made it. Get the weekend started, let's go live on YouTube. It's Friday, I can't believe we made it. It's Friday. I can't believe it's Friday and we made it. Get the weekend started, let's go live on YouTube. Ooh. It's a Friday night flick and you know it's going down. Get your friends and your knives and let's have a good time. Got that blade click clacking and I'm ready to go. Gotta check the homie Micron to see what knives he's got. Oh. Gotta check the homie Micron to see what knives he's got. Oh, I can't believe it's Friday and we made it. Get the weekend started, let's go live on YouTube. It's Friday, I can't believe we made it. It's Friday. Friday night fix is ready, here we go. Watch me scramble to complete a 3-hour show. We'll talk about knives and what's on your mind. Never know what will come up this time. We vibe and we chill, including spirited debate, but we do it with love and never with hate. Talk about knives and what's on your mind. Never know what will come up this time. We vibe and we chill, including spirited debate, but we do it with love and never with hate. We vibe and we chill, including spirited debate, but we do it with love and never with hate. Lights go dark, the stream comes on. Javon's here, the vibe is strong. Click and clack, the steel in sight. Every edge sharp in Friday night. Knife flicks dance under the light. Blades that shine and cut so tight. Handles spin and edges glide. Friday night flicks worldwide. The craft with steady flow, steel and story you'll wanna know. Flick of the wrist, how smooth it goes. Every frame a master show. Knife flicks dance under the light. Blades that shine and cut so
Got the Scully in the house, it get cold in here. Open up the pack, crack open the beer. No fear, no tears, got the old 10 gears. Knew you been around, ain't been home in years. Had a hard day's work, it was easy for me. Javon, the beat hit easy to me. We talk about knives, it was EDC. It's the first 1, 2, 3. I don't know if you all been told it could get weird. So are you high on cigarettes? All right, ladies and gentlemen, Javon's Night Flicks, baby. Friday Night Flicks, baby. The first ever episode, we are getting it cracking like we say. Shout out to my co-host, Miss Evelyn, let's get it, let's go. Yo, it could get weird. So are you high on cigarettes? This the Friday Night Flicks, the channel where we
weird,
discuss
people.
everything and all
They get
things
real weird.
EDC, knives, pocket knives,
Here comes your dog.
you name it, we got it. Yo, Miss Evelyn, let's go. We got it.
Yo quiero Taco Bell.
Quiero Taco Bell. What is going on, people? As you noticed, I hit the wrong button. Hey, StreamYard. Every time I log in, they change stuff on me. So, Henry, what is up? Welcome, guys. I thought I'd start a little early like I try to. I shoot at Fridays. I have it for 8:15 because that's realistic. I want to get in between 8 and 8:15 because we're like the pre-show for said faction, the real Friday night entertainment. We're the warm-up. So I like to get in a little early because we sometimes go late. And I want to make sure that we give you guys at least the company and a place to chat. I can at least offer you that. But I'm thankful you're here. We're going to have a good night. It's going to be fun. Settle back. Ground Fog, what is going on, brother? Good to see you, man. I've got some knives to show you guys. We got Marco Ye, channel member in the house. What is up, Marco? And right behind him, brother Neil McKenzie, channel member and a friend of the show. And then I can't say behind, I'll say on sending the tower of guests in Javon's Night Flicks is Miss Kathleen Smith. Lovely, lovely individual and channel member. Guys, stop by Sunday. It's going to be a fun one. Projectiles are sharp. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is good to see everybody. El Cap Addict, what is up? Channel member. Happy Friday. I hope everybody had a good week. I hope it wasn't too trying on you. I hope everybody bounced through it. Man, I bounced off some rocks. Ooh, I'm still kind of bouncing off one, but I'm going to get over it. Marco, yay. I think I said hey to you earlier, but guess what? Howdy again. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. I was a little later. I was about 3 minutes later than I hoped to kick off at. There's my brother from another mother, Paul Mills, a channel member, good friend of the show and good friend of mine. Who else we got in here? We got Paul Member's been a member for 33 freaking months. That's over 2 years. Dude, that is what I call thank you and absolute loyalty and dedication to a little channel. I do appreciate you, my friend. Here comes a man hug. Even though my man hugs have gotten shorter because of copyright bullshit I've had to deal with, they're better than a nannerpuss.
You can call me Nannerpuss. And guess what?
Even though Stevie requests nannerpuss. And I do like the nannerpuss. It's a throwback. I hope everybody had a great week with knives. I've got a knife in my pocket that I was not expecting to get. It is it's not really a pass round. It's a knife that was sent to me. A guy reached out on Instagram. The big reviewers have already seen it. I'm an idiot because, as you guys know, I'm kind of out of the knife buying game. And this knife's going to be available for a drop. I'm going to do an unboxing video tomorrow because I thought it was something else. But I'm going to show it to you and see if somebody can name it for me. This is textured titanium. This is a button actuated liner lock. This is a satin DLC S90V. The OEM is Riot. I do not know the price right this second, but do y'all know what this is? It looks like it to me, 1931 Leatherworks. I'll tell you, I rarely have a knife come in that just kind of fits me. The only thing, and this is not a negative, I've not even unboxed this knife yet. If it was a hollow grind, I would be selling shit, trying to figure out how to pre-order a knife. And I really don't pre-order, but this is a young company. This is a company I've never heard of. Have y'all ever heard of Onetrack Mind? I'm an idiot. I'm sure you have. Onetrack Mind Company. This is his second knife, I believe. This is called the Kilpy. We're going to look at his page in a second because this is just one variation. I saw that Ray and all the big reviewers have had his knife and have loved it. But Ray has a short where he got one of the ones in that crystallized titanium. I'm not a big fan of it, but it's real big in a lot of the imports now. It's done exceptionally well. But this black DLC, I don't know if you can see, it's like from right here back to right here. It's got little ribs, little texture in the titanium. And then it's got a DLC button. Kilpy is spelled K-I-L-P-I-E. So it's a K-I. So maybe it is. We'll look at it together because, again, to me, it's brand new. It came in. I didn't have time to film an unboxing, but I opened it because it came just in an envelope. I thought it was a knife a buddy sending me who had an 80-20.5, and I'm going to do a scale mod that I can film and send him some titanium scales after the mod. But it wasn't that. It was this. So I've got to do an unboxing. That's been in my pocket. And I got to unbox, which I did about 2 weeks ago, but I haven't been able to show them the May Kaisers. I get excited every month that Kaiser sends me knives, and I get a lot of the Amazon exclusive, the budget. But all these budget knives are also offered as a AEBL 14C. This one is actually an AEBL. But this knife is kind of a basic G10. This is an Amazon exclusive, if I'm not mistaken. AEBL blade steel on a clutch lock, which is the best bar style lock in the game. Bostede makes a nice one too, but the clutch lock to me, because it doesn't bounce back, is just nice. This knife, I believe, is called the Nightjar. No, it's not. It's called the Nice Guy. And no, it's not. Yeah, it is. I'm thinking $29, guys. In D2, you can get this knife for under $30. Exciting to me. Do I carry budget knives? Not often, but I can absolutely appreciate it. I'm digging the design of this one. I've got a budget one, the D2, but this is called the Glauks. I don't know who the designers are yet because all I've done is unboxed them and carried them. I haven't dug into who they are, but I'm just kind of feeling out the ones I like the best, and I really like the shape of this knife. It's a tall, flat grind. This one's micarta in D2. It's the button top liner lock, which Kaiser does exceptionally well. I get porcupine vibes, yet I've never handled a porcupine by Bostede, but it's a nice little stout, flat drop point. It fits my hand perfectly. I love the top button lock that Kaiser does. And these are budget knives. These are the Vanguard series. So this guy is going to be somewhere in the range in Nitro V. This one's D2, so it's going to be less. But if you were going to get this from Kaiser in V2 or in Nitro V, it's going to be about $69 in aluminum and Nitro V. Really nice knife, that much money. And then y'all remember the beg lighter, right? The beg lighter's been around in a fixed blade. The beg lighter's been around in all kinds of different variations. The beg lighter is back, babies. And the beg lighter is available in both a top liner lock. It's called the Big Lighter 2.9. So I'm assuming the blade is 2.9 inches. Or a clutch lock. User preference and a lot of different variations. This is the Norplex Ultra X micarta. Really nice micarta handle with an acid etched Damascus blade. And then I've got a D2 Amazon variant with a top liner lock, but just a nice basic little knife. And these guys are ranging from $74 and under. I can imagine this D2 one is probably going to be around $49. That's just a guess. The big surprise for me was this Bladesmith, this knife right here. Bladesmith being Kaiser's more upper end. They used to cost more, in my opinion, because I think it's a really good value. The blade steel is S35BN. I know. It's an older steel. Is it the best steel out there? Absolutely not. Is it a good steel? I think so. And when you look at the price of a knife like this, I think it makes sense to cut a little bit of dollars as long as you know what you're getting. And that Thomas guy who I've given a hard time for the tone of that letter, I've been following his Instagram. I hope y'all have. My mood has changed. He's testing a lot of knives. He can only test one at a time. I've turned around on that. I still think the letter was in terrible taste and somebody should have stopped his buddy. But I can understand the frustration. But this knife is called the Take, and it's a very comfortable in my hand, kind of a sheep's footy blade that has a regular flipper tab if you don't like the middle finger hole, and it's super, super snappy, or it's got a great shaped incised middle finger hole for flicking. It's got a little bit of a harpoon, great finger choil, titanium handle, titanium clip, lanyard hole, and this guy comes in at $169. I know it's not cheap, but it's, to me, a very high quality build, reputable company. It's DLC coated, a matte DLC, which is different than a satin DLC. I don't know how, except they look different. You look at the satin next to the matte, they're both DLC. Kaiser has theirs named DLC Ultra. I don't know what that Ultra process means. But it's a really nice knife. So I've been stoked to have these to try out. 2 fixed blades came in. The first one, I thought, and I think it still might be awesome. The jury's out on it. This is called the Nightjar. A small little knife, but you open it up and it's got a hole in the blade. It's got a finger hole, guys. Now it's got great jimping right here and right here. So I guess that might come into handy controlling this blade, but I go back to a company that reached out to me, and I haven't even done an unboxing on this knife. It strikes me just as, I don't know, that's a style. It's probably a famous style. Does anybody know what style that is? Does anybody? I have no idea. I have no idea. But I'm thinking the Nightjar, The other one is a Maverick Customs collaboration. Do y'all remember Maverick Customs? I wonder, I'm checking something real quick. Bear with me, guys. Yeah, I wonder, Maverick Customs did the Harpoon. which was a thin handled, a little bit smaller, great knife. Kaiser put it out in 3V. Later on, just recently, they put it out in M390. This is the Bone, and it's named that because of the handle shape, which the jury's out on it for me. It's a little bit larger knife, has very similar blade shape, and the material for the handle is called, am I still live? I have a feeling I'm not. I have a feeling something's happened to my setup. But that could just be me wondering. Could be live. Neil McKenzie can hear me, I bet. This one is stone-washed and stabilized wood. I was trying to figure out what material this was because it's not rich light. They make this knife. This one's $64 in AEBL, but they make it in a really nice matte DLC and 3V with a micarta handle. They make it with a G10 handle for 54 in AEBL, and they make it in a really pretty copper Damascus with a micarta handle. And this one's stabilized wood with just a stone-washed AEBL handle. And it comes with a pancake sheath that works pretty well. I mean, it has good retention. I've not put a pocket clip on it yet because I'll probably just carry it on my belt, and it'll probably make it to one of my Sunday giveaways. But those have been the Kaiser knives that I was able to unbox and share with you guys. I also reached out to Miguron, their budget department, because I was a big fan of Miguron budget knives. The Miguron Moirel was my budget pick of 2023 or 2024. But these are two knives that Joe Isabella, my spiritual Sherpa, a member for 37 short months. They are blinks of an eye, guy, and I'm giving you a man hug. Thank you, brother. It's been a quiet night. It seemed like a quiet night. But this is the Centurion 14C. If you've held a budget Miguron, this is not going to be a big surprise. It's got proud liners where the scales sit flush. They're not inset, but it feels very much like a tool. It feels hardy. It feels hard to use, but it's very slicey. It has a really nice place for your finger, and I want to say it's under $50. And then from the business side of things, this Acri came in. I didn't request either one of these. They both have titanium clips, but same basic makeup. G10, full liners. This one's a front flipper. 14C. Under $40. This knife's on sale for like $39. And the action, like I remember on Migurons, I'm sideways. Let me see if I can get it to go. I don't like front flippers, but this one has jimping all the way around. I apologize for my lighting. But it's a long paramilitary 2 size knife for $40. And I was glad to try these out. I've not reviewed them yet. I've carried this one day. I've not carried this one out of the house yet, but the clips work great on both of them. They're titanium. Plenty of clearance, about 3/4 deep. I like the looks of the Centurion, and I like the way it fits my hand. It's not going to be for everybody, but it did get me back on Miguron's site, which I've not been on in a long time. I've always liked their AM8s and their more premium knives, but they've got some cool designs. Y'all ought to check them out. If you're still looking at budget imports, I know I don't really that much. I've gone fixed blade crazy. But I'll tell you, being attracted to this knife and reaching out to Ryan at Luft Concepts, who I've only met at a couple of blade shows in passing, because I always knew Jake, Bearded Gear, from the days back with Lefty, I knew they were doing this USA made LTL, for little is what it really stands for. It's a S45 enriched light knife. Nice size for me. I love the shape. But Jake is no longer with Luft, and I knew that. He's gone to work more directly for his wife, doing her production and filming. She's got a very successful social media influencer type career in some field. I don't know what she's teaching, but he showed me some of the directions that they were going in. You know, they made the Avant. I've got an Avant around here somewhere, which is the first knife I picked up from them that Riot OEM'd. And Ryan was kind of the designing force. It was, of course, Bearded Gear, Jake's idea. But Ryan took the company, or has taken the company, or is more open to collaborations. So he's done 2 collaborations with Concept. I've not had the opportunity to check either one of them out, but they're both really nice knives. I'm going to show you real quick. And then I'm going to show you a couple of knives that he's done with a company called Fox Knives out of China. That's the name of the company that OEMs these 2 knives for him. And what's cool about them is one is $181 knife that I think's very premium, and I've been carrying that one. It's probably the biggest surprise. And then the other one is a $70 budget knife that reminds me of the Avant. But these 2 knives are Luft Concept knives that are concept. They're concept. What'd you call it? A collaboration. I'm not a huge fan of bar style locks, but working in a nice knife store, I know a lot of people are. I know it's a very stable lock. I know it's, it is what it is. I just got burnt out on it, but I think that's a very cool design, and they've got it in either this kind of little hawkbill, or they've got it in a flat ground or flat blade. But I'll show you the budget one first. This is the Bexer. And if you remember Luft Concepts, that name came from Jake and Ryan's love of air-cooled Porsche engines. And that's where Luft came from. They had some issues with the name Avant because somebody else had it. So they took the vowel out of it. And if you buy an Avant now, it's an AVNT. Well, this is a Boxer, like the Boxer car from Porsche, which looks fast, but it's not as expensive as you would think. And this is spelled BXTR. It's D2, micarta, liner lock, titanium clip. Again, OEM by this Fox company in China. And it's right over $70, between 70 and $80. Full size knife. Ergonomics on it are great. It is a PVC coated DLC. I have not seen an HRC test on it. Ryan has. It sounded very fine to me, but I'm going to wait and see if it just shows up on an independent test. Since I haven't seen one, I'm not going to quote it, but I feel comfortable with it because I have been cutting with it, even though I'm sending these back. These were not like review copies. I just asked him if I could check out a few of his knives to see what he'd been doing. The one that I've fallen in love with that I'm probably going to buy, and a lot of people have commented on the video because I've tried to get into my comments. Some, they hate it on YouTube, but this is called the Atlas, the ATLS. OEM by the same company. He designed this to be an EDC knife, so it's not going to be for everybody. It has one thumb stud. I'm a reverse flicker, so usually that would be a deal killer for me, but I went past it when I saw the hollow grind. or a front flipper. And the front flipper is done very, very well. Well, the blade on this, to me, I just found very appealing. It's VG10, which I'm told is a very good mid-range steel. It's a deep, deep hollow ground with a flat black wash, or you can get this in a bronzy copper color. There are two colorways this comes in. Liner lock with action that is just drippy. I mean, this knife drips in action. And when you cut paper with it, it sounds like wind blowing through trees with no leaves on. It is so thin. When you put your fingers here and feel behind this edge, it almost feels like you can touch your fingers. You've got this kind of strategic little thumb depression in the blade for hard push cuts or for detail cuts. But this thing is so thin, the geometry, the edge geometry on it is wonderful. I've really enjoyed cutting with it. I've really enjoyed carrying it. It's got really nice, kind of a understated titanium clip. I carry it in blue jeans. I wish there was a way I could reverse flick it. I've thought about flipping the stud because it does have a T6 on the back if you want to take that off for sharpening. El Cap Addict, he should be here in a little while. When he jumps in, somebody will be here. I've sent links to several of our convict friends. But guys, this knife is, let me pull it up. I want to say it's 181 bucks. And it's a Luft, it's not a collaboration. So it's not a Fox knife collaboration. It's just that Luft Concepts does not mind telling you who their OEM is. Okay, so if we go to these are the two colorways that it's available in. Well, so this is the one, I don't know if that's bronze or copper, but very unique. The tumbled brass is what the handle is. VG10 hollow ground, black wash with blasted tie, single side thumb stud, 180, and it has afterpay. I don't know what that is, but I was big into Sezzle and others. But this is the one that I'm trying out. It was released 2026 in the winter. Most pocket friendly today. Deploy with a single action. Integrated forward finger choil, which it does have a very nice forward choil. It's unique in my opinion. I like it because it didn't look like anything I'd seen before. It has full liners, T8 hardware, and a deep hollow. Really cool knife. And then the other one, my favorite of all of them, the one that I know I'm going to buy. I've already sold one knife. I've got a whole bunch. I've got 6. Really nice Finch knives. The first 6 Finches. I've got to see if this makes anybody drool. And I've got these cheap. I've got a very nice Runtley Takuna 1929. I've got a really nice Doc Holiday. I've got a Holiday, which is the big flat blade. I've got a Lucky 13 DLC exclusive. What's up, Lucky Dog Knives? How are you, Andrew? I'm selling those for $50 a piece. Why is it not showing you that picture? $50 a piece. There it is. Or I I sold one of them, so it was going to be or 300 for all of them. So if somebody wanted to buy a collection of 6, I'd make them a deal. But this knife, I really, really like. What's really cool about it, and some people might not like this, but I do, it has a 3D printed sheath that incorporates an ulti-clip. You can flip it over, and it's got the same type of 3D aperture to capture this. If you wanted to carry it left-handed, it's a perfect pocket dropper. But you would think it would be thick and bulky. That's if you want to carry it left-handed. But keep in mind, I wear these in my back pocket. I sit on this thing all day, so it's not going to get bent. Easily comes out with a little thumb push. This thing is a tall flat grind or flat ground blade. Slices very well. Thicker blade stock. It's not as slicey as my wax wing or my Creeley blades, Minnow or Mako, or my little nymph. Again, because these guys start out so thin and get very, very thin. Lucky Dog is very unique. I think I know, and I'm not going to say it because I don't know for sure, but I think I know who the OEM is from doing some research. I know they're made in Arizona, USA, but looking at some knife companies that make knives there who make sheaths that are similar. Speaking of great knives, Andrew, you've got to come back on in the next week or two, because I've got all 3 of these closed. I've been carrying these a lot lately. For me, again, it's back right pocket. But Andrew's knives are designed here in the States. This is the River Dog, a basic spear point. But when I say basic, it's only in the way it looks, because it looks like a traditional pocket knife. It's a fixed blade. This is probably my sliciest River Dog knife. It's not the one I carry the most, but it's definitely my thinnest. And this has got an Osage orange handle, and it's handmade by a guy named David Mary in Canada. So these are small batch knives, like maybe 8 or 9 of each configuration that Andrew orders each time. So I'm a big fan of these knives. We don't do any affiliate links or anything like that. I buy the knives when I can, and I'm a big fan of him and what he's doing with knives. I think they're super cool. What's up, Cody? And these are Bolotron sheaths. I didn't know the difference. Lex Rex Custom, Andrew, Lucky Dog, and others will use this Bolotron material, which is thicker and a little more premium than Kydex. I don't know how it forms comparatively, but it's definitely a higher quality polymer. If you look at the edges, if you look at it, it's not the way that it's been put together. It's just the material itself. So there's that. And for me, I like leather, but if you're not going to have somebody make you a sheath, these sheaths work fantastically well, and they come with a clip of your choice. I think between a deep concealment carry and an ulti clip, he may have gone to just deep concealment, which I prefer much better, because my ulti clips, even though they're USA made and I love them, I get rust in my connections. My ulti clips rust more than I'd like for them to. I can knock it off and be fine with it. I own more ulti clips, and the ulti clip, like the 2.2, which this one is, because it's 2.2 inches and it's got these slots, which you have a little more flexibility depending on the hole pattern that the sheath maker or knife maker left there. Where the deep concealment clips, you have to go to their website, and this one has 2 little holes in it. Some of them have 2 little holes up here. They're just more specifically made for holsters or for sheaths that have got their shit together. that can actually design their knives for, to where that pattern is going to fit. In a couple of weeks, I'll have some new knives made by ER Knives in Iowa. Hey, dude, let's plan you joining me on a live stream sometime around that time. And I have to put it on your shoulders to help me remember. I think that would be great if you have 30 minutes or so to jump on when you get closer and show some of that stuff off, even if it's a week ahead of time, even if we need to do it on a special night or at a special time. I'd love to help you feature those. ERC Knives in Iowa. That sounds very interesting. You know me, I'm Googling. Is that Eastern Roadside Connections or not? It's not, is it? Yeah, David, I'm sure he's still in the picture. But Andrew, I know you're in a situation where you have more people wanting knives than you probably can get made in any allotted reasonable period of time. Because when these guys come in, you're not getting 100 of each where you could put them on the market and everybody who wanted one could grab one. You're only getting a handful. So I think that's great that you've got a couple of people. Eastern Roadside. Okay. I found them. So I think that would be great if you would like to. If you'd like to come on and we could just, you could just share with me what you want to share, kind of talk about why you're branching out and getting a couple of sources, show us some stuff, and we can try to sell some stuff or at least get people lined up ready to making you 40. See, that's huge, I would think, for you, because I don't know if you were getting that many before at a time. Congratulations, buddy. I hope they go smoothly, and I can't wait to see them. I'm a big fan of Lucky Dog Knife Co. They do, Andrew designs them very organically from, I don't know where his designs come from besides his imagination, but they remind me of traditional knives that don't fold. Not that I remember traditional knives that didn't fold, but all of them kind of have a traditional vibe for me. Like the Bulldog, the one I carry the most, has a little ram's foot style blade. And I remember that because my dad had a knife with 3 blades in it that had a ram's foot, and he'd always call it a ram's foot. And it looks like the shape of my little Bulldog. So things like that that are nostalgic, that are cool, and the materials are great. These have all been made by David. My Bulldog, one I'm bragging about, here's my Bulldog with my ram's foot. This guy's only 4 3/4 inches, but it is a utility knife extraordinaire. This is great for just slicing into anything that you need to cut into. It's got really, really sharp and comfortable, just grippy finger jimping on for your thumb. This one has burgundy micarta handles, same clip system, same Bolatron sheath. And then the first one I bought from Andrew was the Ranch Dog, which is 3V. This is one that I was attracted to because of the spay blade. It reminded me of a side buster. I know it doesn't look like a side buster, but to me, it kind of reminded me of it. And I forget because I'm brain damaged. There are 2 types of wood here. Usually I know, but it's really nice handle, comfortable, slicey, not as slicey as my River Dog, but still very slicey, and more of a whittler and a rope cutter, cardboard shredder. And this one's made out of 3V instead of AEBL because he'll work with different batches. What's up, the Maroney channel member? The Maroney's so awesome. He always tags me and stuff to try to win an Instagram where I can go try to win stuff. And I never win, but I appreciate him thinking about me when he does. Good to see you, brother. Everybody say hey to the Maroney. Welcome into Friday Night Flicks, my friend. The jury's still out on the Chop Fixie. This is a Chop mini fix. I really like it. I like the style of this knife. I think it's more of a self-defense. Maybe if I was cutting fruit or like I don't know. It's not super thin. It's more of a harder use because it's a short blade, and it's not super thin, but it's very sharp. And it's SLD magic. I've yet to sharpen it, but I am going to sharpen it. I've enjoyed carrying it. I think it's a really cool knife. I just wouldn't probably use it to break down a ton of cardboard. Will it break down cardboard? Yeah, it would. But I would be much better served to grab something like my Mako or my olive knives, just because they're tall and thin. This is a cardboard slayer. This little Lucky Dogs, or not Lucky Dog, this very good knife company, Pocket Doc. We need to go to their site and see what's available. We usually do that earlier than now. But this is the North Mountain Blade mini chop, and it's plenty slicey. Don't get me wrong. But I think that's where it's going to shine because it's got that really sharp tanto point. They make these in a lot of different colors. This comes in for, I think, around 120, maybe 110. And they make it in 3 sizes. They make the mini chop, they make like a 15-inch chop, and then they make like a sword chop. I think the sword chop's right around $300. I think the big one, like the 15-incher, is like $200. And they look really cool to me. Yeah, that is North Mountain. Those are from North Mountain. And I'll tell you guys, I've not sharpened it yet, but I'm in a YouTube group where I traded my buddy A to Z EDC. He's the one that introduced me to North Mountain Blade. He's bought several chops that I was lucky enough to review, but I didn't keep and use. He's got a chop kickstop, a chop front flipper, a couple of others, but he had this one and didn't like the way it felt in his hand. And one of the guys that had experienced it in the YouTube group I'm in said he didn't like sharpening it. And then another guy that's in the YouTube group, that's an older guy who I've known longer, said he hated to hear that because he sharpened his recently with SLD Magic. And he was amazed at how well it held an edge and how it burred up, that suggested to the other guy maybe he sharpens it again because maybe his has gotten burned. I've not had to sharpen mine yet, because one thing, I think the reason my buddy A to Z sold it to me is he picked out the frag, which this knife is available in a lot of carbon fiber and smooth. Frag is the worst choice because it is a pocket freaking shredder, but it's super slicey, a little thicker than my Strider. I've got a Strider in PD1 that's thinner blade stock, but this Dwyer I really like. I've had no problem with North Mountain Blade. I think they do have some cool designs. They started out 5 years ago, and their main jam has been behind that Tanto design. They're a Japanese-inspired company, and they started recently licensing with people like Jason Grant licensed his Gripper V2 that I reviewed, that now Cole from Tri-State has and just reviewed yesterday. They did that for him. They did for Dwayne Dwyer. This knife, the BBNM, I believe it's called. They did a knife called the Moon. I did an unboxing on the Moon. It was a small knife that was really, really neat. Well, North Mountain Blade, when they send you a knife, it comes in a box and in a little case. And in the little case, you get a complete set of all the hardware, even another lock bar insert or lock ball insert, extra pivot, extra everything. I'd never thought about it before. Well, this little Moon, I started playing with it. It was a front flipper, and all of a sudden it got to where it lost its detent. And I looked at it and the lock bar thing had failed. And I reached out to him and I remembered that I had a bag of hardware in the box. So I looked in the box and there was another lock bar insert. So I took it apart, put the lock bar insert in it. It was easy for me to do. And I'm not a great knife modder guy, but I put the lock bar insert in, took the old one out, which was kind of a pain because it was press fit, but I was able to get it out with my little plastic shim that I got from CountyCom. Got it out, put the new one in. I was cutting cardboard about 2 weeks later during the review and it failed. What I mean by that is it broke again and it allowed the blade to not, it gave the blade lock and side to side because it was no longer attaching to the lock bar. So I reached out to North Mountain Blade and I said, guys, after having this happen twice, the Moon is a great little knife, but I really think that piece, because the lock bar insert looked like a puzzle piece with 4 little pieces coming off it. And I think the design was flawed to where it was just weak. And they said, you don't know how much we appreciate you testing that for us. And I hate to hear that, but we'll have to take it back to the drawing board. And it's off the website now. They took it immediately off the website. You know, and they have a warranty that they stand behind and do stuff. But I was impressed that they didn't say, well, yeah, you just got a bad one or screw you. They're like, well, maybe we do need to look at that. So I sent them pictures of the little piece that failed in the lock bar. What I'm talking about, well, this isn't a frame lock. In any frame lock, or most frame locks, you've got a lock bar insert. So that screw that you see on your frame right there, that screw, that little screw right there, that goes to a little lock bar patch that goes in there that is what the detent ball rests on and sits in. So if your detent ball falls out, you don't have to go press fit. Some you do, Shiros you do, some other knives you do, but most of them come with a lock bar insert. So you just take the knife apart and you would interchange the lock bar insert. I had one fail on my Null Voodoo. It's the only knife I've ever had a lock bar insert fail. You can see the little silver. It should be black. They did not have any black lock bar inserts, and I was fine with it because I didn't have much choice, and they were nice to send it out. See how that one's silver? But all of a sudden, one day I was playing with it, and it just had no detent. It fell fully shut. It opened with no swack. That little detent ball does everything. But I think I'm pretty fortunate for as many knives as I've owned and as many knives as I've flipped and as many times as I've flipped those knives to have that little Moon fail. Be Shady, what's up, brother? That little Moon that failed, that was a design flaw, and this one failing once. I can't get mad at that. I've been really lucky. And that's one reason I think when we go to Blade Show, those of you who've done what I've done and walked up to a table with custom knives on it and flipped it open and have them just go, hey, you don't flip our knife. Midgard Messer, I'm talking to you. Knives aren't meant to be flipped the way we flip them, especially custom. You know, rolling them out is the proper way. Is the proper way to do it when you're at Blade Show. You want to always slowly take out the blade and close the blade slowly when you're at a table in front of people, because they will freak out if you come in and start fancy fingering it. I've seen people get just downright rude, and I can understand. If I spent all that time making a knife, I don't want a detent ball to fall out on my table when I'm at a show and I don't have a press there to put it back in. So So yeah, if you go to Blade Show, try not to do your flips there unless you keep one, which we all do in our pocket to flip. Yeah, the one track mind is going to have to do something really bad to me for me not to give this thing a fantastic review. And let me look at my Instagram and see if he sent me a pre-order price back yet. Because the website has 0 on it. And this is his second pre-order, so it's his second knife. He's had a knife that he's sold before. Let's go to messages. And Steve has not come back yet. He will, though. He'll come back and tell me, and I will tell you guys, because I want to know what this thing goes for. I'm guessing somewhere in the low 3s because it's a Riot OEM, and the quality on it is very nicely done, from the back spacer details to the satin DLC blades, probably the most impressive. And they have a non-DLC version that will probably be less expensive. And they've got a crystallized tie version that is super bougie. Let's just look at them for a second. What did I call them? All right, I've gone blank. What was their freaking name? Instagram. Oh, let's see. What is it? Onetrackmind.com. I had to remember that website. But I've never heard of One Track Mind, but it's Steve Joyce. I don't think he has a website. I don't think he's a YouTuber. He may be. I don't know how he got to design knives. That's not it. One Track. I need to have a conversation with him. One Track. Because there are a lot of different colorways available. So if you like the knife, you can definitely find a finish that you like. Let me share this with you real quick. Let's go One Track Mind. This is the Kilpy. And that's the finish I happen to have right now, the Kilpy. So we go to pre-order. I don't think the pre-order's open yet because we don't have any prices. But look at this crystallized tie. You can really see the definition in the handle. And then we have black DLC, the one that's just gorgeous. A glass bead blast, which looks like raw. And then a bronze, which I guess that's kind of a rough bronze color with like a flat PVD or DLC blade. And then you've got a Huggin Damasteel. So that's the Damasteel pattern. And these are OEM by Riot. And he's doing 2 lefties, a DLC lefty and a bead blast lefty for you lefties out there. And here's the knife he did before, the Zorn. I was not aware of that knife. I did not get to participate in that knife, but it looks like it's a very good knife. You guys might have been able to check it out. I did not. But the Kelpie the pre-order will be soon. And I can tell you, I love this knife. SOCOM, the perps. Are you wanting the SOCOM auto or the SOCOM ram lock, buddy? I hate that I did not. We have 4 MSI minis. I've got a titanium Marfion Select. I've got an olive green and like 3 blacks. One has a black blade, or the black and satin blade, and the other has not satin, black and stone wash, and the other has a stone wash. So if anybody needs MSI minis, we're stacked up down at Knives and More. I've also got one SOCOM manual in black and apocalyptic finish, I guess, on the blade. The base, the base SOCOM ram lock. I really like that knife. I like the choil where it is. I never was a fan of the automatic because you couldn't reverse the clip, but the manual is a banger. An absolute banger. And I'll tell you, the little Chavez Protek scapegoat with Magnamax is a small, nice little knife. It's a good size for EDC. I think it has a great blade steel. It's the first production of Magnamax, so that tells me it was a crucible pour. So who knows? Hopefully it's good. I'm putting in a return with Caviso. I'm going to drop the box off tomorrow. What, did you get a knife that didn't do good, buddy? Got the Protek Malibu second day breaking and flicking button stick. Are you sending it back to Protek? Let me tell you something, buddy. If you like the knife, I dealt with Protek after a year of having a knife, my Mordax. I've told this story before. I reached out because I had a little bit of detent lash. It always had it. When I picked the knife out from Dave at the Nashville Knife Show, it had the slightest bit of detent lash, but it did not bother me at all. It didn't bother me until I started carrying my Malibu and I realized my Malibu didn't have it. So I reached out via email and said, hey, is this something I should worry about? My old Protek had detent lash. My Malibu doesn't. She goes, absolutely, send it in. You'll have to send us a $12 check. She gave me the place to get the form. Send it in. If you've got the packaging, great. That'd be helpful. And send a $12 check for return shipping. I said, no problem. Sent it in. 9 days later, I had the knife back, and it was a brand new knife. They did not fix my knife, probably because it was too much to fix it, because I had scratches on my knife and scratches on my clip. And this knife that came back is absolutely perfect. Those guys have a commitment to quality. I rarely will rant and rave about somebody's warranty department because I realize I can have a good experience and other people can't. But I never let anybody know I'm anybody but a customer. So they don't, I'm not saying, hey, this is something, and I never play the channel game. I can talk to people. I never do that shit. I'm a low key guy and said, look, you might not even, hey, YouTube Music Portal, it may not even need to be fixed. I probably shouldn't worry about it. All she had to do is say, Javon, that's well within our, what we consider margin of flexibility, or whatever you want to call it. And it's fine. And I'd be like, fine, it doesn't really bother me. I'm just curious. I wanted to check because my Malibu doesn't do that. And I just recently gotten the TR3. I'll be honest. The knife we have ordered that I've not been able to get, we've had them in 3 times and they sell out. The Protek Avalon that Sean Ashburn designed from Peace Neighbor, the actor guy. It's Magna Cut, long Spyderco light blade on thumb studs. This is the TR3, which is a button lock on thumb studs that also has no lock or detent lash. That's action wise better than any of my other Protek button locks. It's got a thicker blade, more of a tactical blade, still very slicey, but I really want a Protek Avalon. If y'all have not had a chance to check one out, if you're going to Blade Show, definitely check one out. It's on my wish list, and we get them at Blades and More. I don't get a deal there from those guys yet. I haven't gotten to be good enough homies to see what I could get stuff for. And they're not doing a lot of trade-ins yet, but I've been blessed and picked up, I guess, 4 knives since I've been there that I've been able to trade knives for. I traded my Medford for that about 3 days before Gavin came out with "They Stole My Shit" video. I took it to Blade Show and didn't even carry it. I had it to show Shane and Ryan, the people I went with, because it's a 0 blade play. but I didn't feel comfortable carrying it. I do now, and I carry it quite a bit. This is a great drop point for what I use it for, opening basic stuff around the house. And out the front is very, very handy. Now, certain out the fronts for me are tricky because I have to use the side of my thumb because I don't have a lot of pullback strength with my thumb here. This is an axial shift, a great knife. MagnaCut, very simple frame, no fancy glass breaker, but for an EDC out the front, this and probably my favorite are the Best Tech EMP EDCs. To me, have the glassiest action. I can do them the right way, the way they're supposed to be. Both set up more for EDC knives because that's where John Rusk, who makes these knives, comes from. I mean, these are cutters. They're not designed to be pokey stabbies. They're just great knives. If you've not had an EMP EDC Pulse, or if you're not familiar with the EMP EDC line, I think I have bought almost, my collection has almost every knife they put out, and I bought them all, starting all except one. I did not buy I did not buy this one right here. They gifted me this at Blade Show 3 years ago, whichever one this one's called, because I kept admiring it at their booth. And the last day, they were going to meet somebody for dinner at the restaurant right off the pit. And everybody had gone to the Kaiser dinner. It was Friday night, the first night. Everybody had gone to the Kaiser dinner. I was tired. I did not want to go to the Kaiser dinner, so I stayed back. I was talking to a couple of people, and I fell asleep sitting up right there. And they felt sorry for me, I guess, when they walked by. They were going to dinner and came over and handed me this and said, "Hey, dude, just wanted to say thanks for stopping by the booth today. I thought it was awesome." This is the, I can't believe I can't think of the name of it. If anybody knows the name of this one, it's the one that doesn't have the rear flipper, the Relative. This is the Relative in MagnaCut. I love John's design language. His knives feel great. He's got really all styles. He really did a good thing because after he gave me that knife at Blade Show, I bought this knife the week I got back because I had not had one of these yet. This is the Ronin. It's a little departure, has a lot of the same design language, but it doesn't have a same frame, has a very similar ergonomic excellence. I bought this knife and I bought the Nimble T. This is just like my regular Nimble, but it's a Tonto. And I like this one better. This one's OEM by Best Tech, not by QSP. And it's got a different pattern. It's got a kind of a hexagon imprint instead of a raised pattern. It's just cool. I like this knife very, very much. I'm a big fan of EMP EDC. I hope they make it to Blade Show this year. Last year, they had a booth, and they were coming, and for some reason, they didn't make it. I don't know what happened. I haven't talked to John to find out what happened. Great knife. This is the Wii Vision R. Civivi made a knife that's better in every single way except for the pocket clip. This pocket clip that looks so awkward to people, having the pocket clip out here on the end as opposed to back here, is brilliant. This knife rides in the pocket unlike anything else. But not having the thumb stud like the VG10 one does from Civivi, you can't get as much finger torque out of this Snex lock knife that's 20 CV and titanium than you can out of this Civivi that has a thumb stud instead. You can just get a lot more torque out of it. But a great EDC knife. I think it's one of the best. The Wii Vision R is like an $80 knife. You cannot beat it. I guess I'm kind of a Microtech fan. I like a lot of their knives. I was interesting, And I'm luckily able to do that. A lot of people can't, and I understand it, but I can separate the person from the knife. I never liked Microtechs for their design language, for one. I wasn't a big fan of the way they looked. And I'd heard really bad things about the owner. Not things that involved me at all, things that were in his own personal life that made me think he wasn't a good guy. But that doesn't take away from when he put out cool knives that I liked. I love the fixed blade he does around the stitch. I love the stitch auto. And when he came out with the stitch ram lock, which I just failed, the stitch ram lock for $300, I bought one with aluminum handles. I've got the aluminum handles in a box because Lex International makes scales. Why am I failing it? Because I've been flipping something else. This is one of the sharpest knives out of the box I've gotten, even though I can't flip it for shit. Very ergonomical, very much a beast of a knife. And they're out the front speak volumes. Gary, I don't see a camera, but you're probably driving, so I'm going to bring you in, my friend.
All right.
What is going on, buddy?
How's it going?
We're just sitting here talking about a few knives. What are you up to, bud? You driving back from Tennessee or driving to Tennessee?
Driving back.
Awesome. Awesome,
Driving back.
awesome. Are y'all staying tonight or driving through?
Driving through.
Hey, what time will that put y'all back?
1 a.m.
That's not too bad.
12 your time.
Yeah, well, you got to just keep it on. We'll talk you in, keep you from falling asleep. We leave a little bit earlier than that before those guys go on, but I listened to your podcast. I listened to part of it today, but I started listening to it Wednesday. I'm going to share it here in just a second. I'm going to bring it up, but I love the format of it. The conversation that I'm into right now, when y'all were talking about what makes a custom knife, what makes a mid-tech knife, what differentiates them. It is really a tricky kind of gray. There's a lot of gray area there, especially the way, like y'all said, things have changed, over the years. I found that fascinating that you had that as a topic, and it was so expansive of a topic, and it made me think.
Oh, yeah.
It gave me another reason of why you have your knives PG, custom, and sole authorship, because it's more realistic of what they are in today's times.
Yeah, absolutely is. Now, that's an older episode. That's not the most recent one.
Hold on a second. Let me pull it up right now. That might have been, because I've listened to a couple of them. You've got a bunch of them on there. That's okay. The most recent one, maybe I wasn't listening to. I thought that was the most recent. Let me see what.
The most recent one is Blade Show 25 wrap-up.
Bark River wrap-up, Blade Show 26 pregame. I listened to Custom Mid-Tech Production for some reason from April 17th.
Yeah.
I need to listen to that. Guys, I'm going to drop. Do y'all listen to, anybody in the chat listen to podcasts? And what platform do y'all listen to? But Gary, how do you record that? Do y'all do it all in one room, or do you do it remotely, or y'all are each in your own spot?
Stream Deck. That was Stream Deck, and it's also on YouTube as a video. Live.
Okay, so it is being put out through your YouTube channel.
Yeah, I don't think that's where most people consume it, but it's there.
Well, I think what I think is great about
Facebook.
Facebook, I have not been on for years, and for no other reason than I had to get rid of one for my own sanity. And Facebook, if you live in Alabama, it can be a toxic little soup. But I've learned how to navigate out of it and just use the knife groups by not engaging with any of the posts. I'm almost invisible on there. So I wonder how I share this. Hold on a second.
But yeah, you do the YouTube link. You can do a Spotify link. I got to go in and look at the.
I mean, the
gotta go in and
Spotify layout is very neat, and that's how I listen to it. So I think if I share, copy link to podcast. All right, this is the link to the whole podcast. Let's see how long it is. Too long. You guys can click on that, but what I would do is the way I found it is I went to Spotify. I've got the app. I went to Spotify and I just searched Creeley Blades. And you've got, I think, what, Gary, 5 episodes up here?
Yeah, we used to do another one called the Preferred Blades podcast. And we had quite a few of those too. But they're really older at this point.
But I mean, I think the track that you're on now, I can't wait to listen to the Blade Show 25 wrap up for Bark River wrap up to hear y'all's thoughts on that. But is it the same crew that you pretty much bring together, the same guys that work with you?
Yeah. Yep.
Very introspective guys. I mean, what you don't have to say what kind of work they do, but they sound like they're, I mean, very highly educated.
They are. But they're just like knives. And
that's the best type of people you can have partner with you.
The one guy, Paul, he was actually a Nazarene pastor as well. Now he's not. He's a chaplain.
That's great. That's fantastic. I mean, really engaging content. That's why I didn't know. And I guess when you did the podcast, when it goes out as a premiere, when it goes live, do y'all take the time to be in the chat? Have you ever had a video out as a premiere where you don't record it live, but you're there to engage people live?
We actually recorded the podcast live and engaged the comments during that time.
Perfect. You're a step ahead of the game. I should not have been expecting anything else. Hey, Paul, that Mini Hera is awesome, and I'll tell you what they just brought out that has the double drivetrain and the crud cutter system. Is they brought that UTX 70 back out, that little tiny one, smaller than the Hera. I think those little tiny Microtechs are just cool. I know they're not as functional as like my full size Ultratech, but my understanding is, and I'm probably wrong here, but the UTX 85 is 85% the size of a full-size Ultratech, whereas the UTX 70, the math's different on that one. It's not 70% the size because it's a good bit smaller. That 70 is cool, Paul. I like to say the word cute, but that's not a good word to use with a knife, but it's just tactically is stealthy. Stealthy is a better word than cute. What gen did they change it? The most interesting thing were the changes that happened between Gen 3 Ultratech and Gen 4 Ultratech. And you ought to Google that, Paul, and read what they say on their website, because the old man who's younger than me at the knife store and I still disagree on that. And I'll be honest, he'll never change my mind. I'm sure they went back in and complied with what they needed to do to make the part not violate the copyright, but for a while they were unable to make that knife, so much so they published it on their website, except they did it as a cost saver to the customer. It is. The Mini Hera is larger than the UTX 70 B80 and smaller than the 85. As a matter of fact, I've got a picture of the 4 of them. Let me see if I can find it. I took that picture just for that reason. Just for that reason. Because I wanted to see how they lined up. Somebody's popped in here. It's Bugsy.
Ha! What's up, fellas?
How are you, Bugsy?
Doing
I'm
all
looking
right.
for a picture on Instagram. I'm not ignoring you guys. I'm just behind I'm looking. Here they go. So here you go, Paul. Here's the Ultratech, the UTX 85, then the Hera, and then finally the UTX 70. So the top right is a 0 blade play drop point Ultratech, followed by a Generation 4 UTX 85, a Generation 3 Hera is the black one, and then the very bottom one's a Generation 4 UTX 70. Could y'all see that? Did you see that, Bugsy?
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop sharing it. Cool. So we got Gary is driving back from picking his son up at college. They're gonna be rolling in about midnight our time. So they're on the road.
So son's on the
Just
chat, huh?
entered West Virginia.
And it sounds like you're in a gas burner, aren't you?
Yes, I'm in the truck, Silverado. Rup, rup, rup.
You minimize your carbon footprint enough.
You know, I was going to the south. You know, I needed to look the part. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. You gotta blend
Go down
in.
there with a Tesla.
Hey, let me tell you something. You come down to Nashville, and I'm sure your passenger will. There's more Teslas in Nashville than there are in Huntsville, and in Huntsville they are a ton of Teslas because Nashville.
Yeah, there are a lot of
buy
Teslas.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a Tesla place in Nashville, and they've really taken off down here.
My son's roommate is from Alabama, or one of his roommates is RA. But I think they were a little closer to Birmingham.
I got you. Birmingham is a good 2-hour drive, about 75, 80 miles. The
Yeah.
Hellhound blade is, to me, the sexiest blade besides the Evos. I think that's a beautiful blade.
So here's an interesting observation. This kid's mom has a Southern accent, but the kid doesn't. I can tell you why.
Is the dad Southern?
I don't know. Is his dad Southern? Probably. We don't know.
Because a lot of times, it's interesting if you went to school down here, because you would pick up the accent of your peers. Because the accent is something that you can. I lived in Colorado for 4 years, and mine really toned down, even though it's kind of picked back up now because I've been around it. But if he spent a lot of time being homeschooled and spent a lot of time with his dad, he might have just adapted that, that dialect because he didn't want to be labeled a hayseed.
He's my son says it's because of the internet and social media.
Right. And you know what? That's something that I never even thought about. But with TikTok and with video being so prevalent, is how people consume the internet. It's not like I used to reading stuff. That makes great sense.
Yeah, but I just thought it was an interesting observation.
Very interesting. And it's almost, I'm not going to say disturbing because I don't know this particular case because I know the internet can be used for good. But some kid that I found out that it's part of a big paid marketing campaign. But have y'all ever heard of this kid called Clavicular?
Yeah. I have not.
He's a maxer. Okay. So he's a looks maxer. And they do all this other maxing stuff. And it's almost like peacocking. It's bizarre. And it's not at all healthy. But I just wouldn't want people to be watching stuff because they don't feel like their accent's desirable. Or they want to, if you want to better yourself and learn stuff, that's awesome. Right. But there's so much out there that's just, and this kid is you can tell he's not he has no self-esteem. He has no real goal except to look better than the other guys at the party, even though he's allegedly heterosexual and he doesn't have time for the things that someone who's 20 years old should be caring about. Not that he shouldn't be making the money he's making or part of it, but he's just there's something bad. He's going to have a bad ending. And I hear there's a lot of that on
allegedly heterosexual. That should be part of my new business card.
You got to keep them guessing, Gary. I
don't think that'll go over too well at the church.
Because even watching this guy's clips, they spend so much time doing stuff like putting a 3-inch lift in their shoe because they feel like if someone's taller than you, that it takes away. And they break it down to this weird Andrew Tate breakout matrix stuff. It's like more of that mind rot that's just coming in this younger generation. And they do the stuff. This is the more extreme side of it. This is what got this guy platformed on CBS, one of the night shows that I don't watch, is they do this stuff called bone smashing. And you can look at this kid's adolescent pictures and his now pictures, and he looks like a totally different kid. But he took out college loans, didn't go to college, and had plastic surgery. But before that, he was bone smashing, where they take hammers or anvils and slightly smash their cheekbones so that when they grow back, or when they heal back more chiseled. And it's really messed a lot of kids up, as you might imagine.
That doesn't sound like a good time.
But what this kid has turned it into, and I'm sure your son's not sucked into it because he has a brain, but these kids that are watching him are probably 12, 13 years old, and they're seeing him with all this just exorbitant wealth, everybody kowtowing towards him. You know, it's bad. It's brain rot. And there's so much of that on the internet now.
So speaking of exorbitant wealth, I stopped by Smoky Mountain Knife Works on my travels.
What'd you find?
Take a guess what I bought at Smoky Mountain Knife Works. I don't think you'd guess in a million years, but
there's too many choices there for me to even start cataloging what you might be thinking when you went in there.
A Brian Ty.
So most expensive knives I trade with my dealers to get. So going into a place like that and paying full retail is generally not the way I acquire something unless it's really special. What I bought was it was a Smoky Mountain exclusive. They have a bunch of these Victorinox. I think it's the Tinkerer. And I bought one of those. It was on sale for $25.
Nice.
That's what I got.
A responsible purchase. Now, which Victorinox model did you say it was?
I think it's a Tinkerer.
Tinkerer. Okay.
I think that's what it is.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And very restrained, if I must say.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like, I don't think I could stomach talking to some of the guys, and they weren't paying attention to me. I was looking at, they did have one of the new Buck 110 Slims with the clip. But they're $219.
Are they Magna Cut?
Either that or S30.
But heat treated really low, I'm sure.
No, they Boss does a decent job with heat treat.
Do they? Okay.
Yeah, they do a decent job with heat treat. I think they're running well like that. I think that Buck that I ordered with Magna Cut was going to be like 63 or 64. I think that's what it said.
We haven't gotten one of the Slims in yet, but we've got we've got both autos, the one that looks like the traditional 110 and the one that has that black G10 with the kind of stainless or pewter end caps.
Yeah.
That's a neat knife in Magna Cut. It's like $199. And it's just cool. I mean, I always mess up because I always go to push the button to close it, but you've got to hit the back lock. Paul, I love the die rack. I like the small die rack, double edge. I think it just looks sick. Oh, is Smoky Mountain Knife Works on What's Not Now too?
Probably. They got so much crap there that some of it's got to sit and they just want to move it.
Well, we had something kind of funny happen, but I don't think my order went through. We were the guy that owns the knife store was on Lowe's page for some reason, and he found a case trapper in some kind of bone that's like a $69 case, but they had it listed for $9.95. So he ordered 10. And the other guy that works there ordered one, and I ordered one through Apple Pay. Mine will probably come tomorrow. And when you clicked on the listing, it took you to an empty paint roller. You know, the paint roller that you still have to put the roller in, just the frame.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I don't think. He was like, no way. Because when you pushed add to cart, it added that case and it matched the model number that is case's model number. So we thought, well, let's just give it a shot. Because what I was going to do, I'm not joking here. I was going to take the Blue Ridge Gary thought, and I was going to buy like 50 of those if they actually would ship them, and set up a whatnot page and sell those SOBs for $60 a piece, because usually people are selling them for an increase. But $9.95. Is that a skiff? That's not a skiff, is it?
No, it's Curtis.
Oh, Curtis. That's gorgeous, dude.
Yeah, this one's sick.
We're getting, I guess we're a month and a few days away from Blade Show.
Yep, just secured the room.
Yes, approaching all too quickly.
What the wife's coming this year, which is exciting for me.
That will be nice. Are y'all going to try to get out and do the aquarium or anything fun one day for her, or does she like knives?
No, I mean, she likes knives. We actually went to the Lehigh knife show probably, I don't even know, probably 10 years ago now. And there was a knife there that we both liked. And it had like a bone handle, it was a fixed blade, beautiful blade, really nicely ground. It's like perfect. And the handle had like, you know, like a stripper, like on both sides, but a different girl on both sides. And what we didn't know at the time is that we should have bought that knife, because both the makers are famous and the handles were hand done, like in like some kind of bone. And we never saw that knife again. So everywhere we go together, she looks for that knife.
Oh, cool. So she'll be kind of engaged.
Yeah.
Scotty, or Sobex, I didn't mean to dox you. I'm pumped for Blade too, buddy.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely can't wait to see you. I'm glad to meet Gary.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to be able to pull you away from the table, Gary? Are you going to go to the pit later?
Gary, did you hear Bugsy?
No, I can't hear Bugsy. Should I go out and back in?
No, hold on. Let's see. Bugsy, say something again.
Hey, Gary, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I don't hear.
Jump out and come back in, Gary.
I mean, I can do it. Maybe
All right.
that's...
Well, I can hear you fine.
I just know he's driving. I don't want to give him, you know.
No, that's true. But he's got a navigator.
See, now I can't hear.
Jump out, wait like 20 seconds and come back in. Because, hey, guys, it's just us again. What's up? At least let's get New York behind us. I'll tell you what. Let's go to the flickering street lights, which I find to be kind of... Can you hear me?
I got you.
All right. Can you still hear?
Yes.
Can
All
you
right,
hear
now
me?
I can hear him. Yeah.
All right.
Hear him.
There we go.
Ask
Yeah,
your
so I was asking Gary if we're going to be able to pull you away from the table for a little while at all, maybe for some lunch or something, or are you going to be in the pit later?
I don't go to the because it's barely have enough voice to get through the show as it is. So I won't be in the pit, but you guys are welcome to come to our Airbnb. It's about 30 minutes out from the show, but we have a whole house.
Yeah, y'all are doing it right. That's absolutely the best way to do
Did
it.
you guys hear that?
Yes.
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah, so yeah, you're welcome to do that.
Well, we definitely need to rally up while we're there.
Yeah, and maybe we'll do, let's see. We get there, so Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night. We might go out to eat Saturday. Maybe we'll go out to eat Saturday. We're cooking at the house is the approach. But Yeah.
That's just the best way to do it. I mean, it's just like the convenience of an Airbnb, especially with several people that you're traveling with, is just nice. We always go to the guy whose live stream comes on right after ours. They've been fortunate enough to get the same Airbnb each year. And it's kind of like the place we go Thursday night and Friday night, and they've got a big deck. They cook, and we just sit out and talk about the show. It's just kind of cool because you see people, once a year, really.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it'll be cool. It's the first time doing this. I have a table this year. I think next year I need to go to a booth.
What are you going to try to bring, Gary? Have you got an account yet, or are you just going to bring what you can get?
I should have Magnamax Makos by then. So I'm going to try to bring 100 of them.
I got you.
And then I'm going to have some odds and ends, Magnamax stuff. I'll probably have some omnivores, which is a small chef's knife, maybe a hunting knife. I'm hoping to have a handful of mediums, at least an 8670, if not 50, if not the 3B gamma heat treat.
Right.
So, yeah. So, yeah, some cool stuff that I haven't even released yet. So, I'm looking forward to it. I don't usually sell a lot at Blade Show. I haven't hit the magical super famous level to sell out at Blade Show yet. So if I sell 10, 12 blades over the show, now granted, dealers come by and wipe everything. They'll buy everything I have.
And I would think that the relationship opportunity, the networking opportunity is huge for like the rest of your year.
Certainly. Yep. No doubt. And that's why I'm going to try to be at my table between 11 and 1 every day. But outside of those, it'll be hit or miss. Outside of that, it'll be hit or miss.
Do you have?
I got to go talk to a lot of people.
I got you. I figured you had a list. That's kind of what I do the first day. Is I have a list of what I want to film, and I try to do that and knock it out the first day. People I want to film and talk to, and it's a pretty small list. I don't cast a wide net. I just focus on those people that stuff I've always bought, stuff I like.
Yep. Yeah, there are some conversations I want to have. And that'll be interesting. I got an interesting email. It was actually an instant message from somebody pretty influential in the industry, telling me that Teifoku wants to send me some steel. I'm like, all right, send it on over.
Hell yeah.
That is awesome.
A couple of their powdered metallurgy grades. So that's
Is that something they're trying to release and they're trying to give you like kind of a little quick glimpse, or is it something that's already out there available for everybody?
The one's been available for a while. It's SG2 Super Gold 2.
Oh, okay.
And then the other one is a newer one that's less known, STX something. So now I had a knife in Super Gold 2, Japanese made, ground super thin, fantastic knife. My wife destroyed it.
A kitchen knife, I take it.
My wife destroys knives. She's a destroyer of knives.
Isn't that kind of like some of the hardest steel in the world to get your hands on?
Paul Mills, thank you. I got to give a quick man hug. And I almost clicked on Steve Irwin.
What's like the hardest steel to get? Even if you wanted it, you had all the money for it.
Thanks, Paul.
Some of the Japanese steels can be hard to get. Actually, they're one of the harder ones to get. Some of the bowler grades, like Vanex, that's pretty hard to get.
Has Nitro V seen a shortage? I think Shane was saying something about that. He doesn't use it a lot, but he was just noticing.
Well, the company that was the big supplier to New Jersey Steel Baron, who was the big supplier to everybody else, is called Boderis, and they stopped making it.
Nah. Sorry, I even gave you the extra bat pat. Put myself in copyright territory. I'll cut it out though. Hey, did y'all see Laren Thomas's video yesterday?
No.
It's pretty funny, but it's informational. What it is today was a special day in his world. Did you see that, Gary?
I did see that.
What'd you think of
I talked
his?
to him. I talked to him today.
I love his personality. I mean, he's so clowny in that video.
Yeah. He's a cool guy. I mean, today, Magnamax releases officially, and people can buy it. And I'm curious. I mean, I've been talking to Niagara leading up to it, and I told them, I said, I think you guys are going to get walloped.
When they said when he said knife size sheets or bars is the way I think he framed it. Is that the type of sizes that you buy, or is that sizes that Shane or somebody in his caliber maker would buy?
That's something that Shane would buy, but you know, there's a lot of guys that buy their steel in bar form.
Okay.
You know, anybody who's not water jetting or not laser cutting are probably going to want it in a bar.
Okay.
To cut it out, just the right size bar to do what they want to do. You know, here's an interesting observation. I got a good price on some 3V, but I could only get it in 6-inch strips, 6 inches by 36 inches, rather than 36 inches by 2 feet, which is the standard size. And what turned out was, on a standard sheet, I could get 76 mediums. But on the 6-inch strips, I only got like 55.
Do you think they're selling those cheap because they're cutoffs, or there's some part that they're from a bigger pattern they're having to not be able to utilize, or why would they be selling them like that, you think?
Just for ease, they're just going to sell one size to everybody.
Ah.
And it wasn't Niagara, it was a reseller. It was Admiral Steel was the company. But it was cheaper, but I didn't save as much as I thought I would because I didn't get the yield because of the way it was laid out.
You weren't able to nest as many knives?
Yeah, so they were kind of smart on their pricing, though. It got you to think you're going to get that deal, and then...
Well, you know, they're expecting to go buy one. And that would be a lot of steel. Like, you can make a lot of knives, especially if you're just sort of one-offing. Like Shane, for instance, that'd be a good chunk of steel that he'd be chewing on for a little while.
Right. That he could do a lot of different designs, and he's not going to notice that yield issue because he's not comparing it to anything really except what he's normally been buying, which are blocks, I would assume, or bars.
Well, yeah, and the bars are even, you know, one of the funny things about a Loveless drop point hunter, where you see the guard on a Loveless drop point hunter, it's actually like a square cutout there. So if you get the right size piece of steel, there's not a lot you have to remove to cut out the blank. Probably by design. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are officially crossing into the promised land of Pennsylvania. Let freedom ring.
Yes.
Congratulations.
So
is he smiling, or is he missing school already?
I don't know. He's very what would be the word? He doesn't have a great deal of swing and emotion.
I got you. He's chilling.
So
Enjoy every
he's
day, no
very-
matter what, man.
He's very indifferent. That's the word.
That's a great trait.
Yes. So he's going to miss his friends, I'm sure. He's going to be glad to get home to his cat. So, yeah.
Oh, cool. It'll be just a nice little change up for a while. I'm sure it'll be good not having to go to class and have stuff pressing on you for a while at least.
Yep. It's very easy to tell when you're in Pennsylvania by the road condition.
They get worse or better? Because in Alabama, you can tell when you cross in from Tennessee because they get rough.
Yeah, it's much rougher here in Pennsylvania.
Hey, chat, what's your favorite steel?
If anybody says 1095, kick him out of that chat.
What are y'all liking?
You know, I've been meaning to ask you, Gary. I've been trying to think about. I want to make a. I think it's like an 11-inch blade overall, full tang. I want to make a blade that I can keep it under $200 if I were to sell it. What steel would you use?
8670.
8670.
Yeah, you could use 80 CRV2, but it's more expensive.
Okay.
8670, easy to heat treat, good toughness. 1084, use 1084 on a big blade. 1095 is it's not very tough.
What is a
So,
1075?
That would be fine too. So 1075, 1084, 1095, 1080. It's all 0.7, 0.8, 0.95% carbon.
Okay.
And not much else.
Because the one knife I have is made out of 1075, and it's tough as nails.
Yeah. You lower that carbon, the steel gets tougher, and there's still plenty of carbon for that to get harder than you need.
All right, cool.
I've never used K329.
K329. Getting fancy.
And Crispy Critter like 3V.
He's really going to
like
like 3V gamma heat treat.
Ooh, yeah, I will too.
I'm
I like
excited for it.
choppers. I like choppers, so I'm all about that.
3V. Yeah, no, nothing wrong with 3V.
No, 3V is a good well round. I'd like to find out what. Hey, Gary, did that knife ever come?
It may have. I haven't been home for 3 days.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You haven't been home. Let me check. I'm just curious. And I don't want you to rush into it. I'm just curious what you think of it when you unbox it and see what a beast it is.
This one's 5701. I don't know. I've never even heard of. Yeah, I've never even heard of that.
It delivered.
I don't know what that is.
Maybe it's just a number for something else. Then, if it's not for the steel.
Oh, so it's there? Well, I'll be interested in seeing it.
Yeah, it's there. And somebody's sitting here saying ready to ship, and it was picked up today. They better update that BS. It usually takes a day for it to update, though. I hate looking at my pirate ship because I always slip over to my budget, what I spent so far this year, and I'm like, the gift that keeps on giving. No, but man, I love shipping out knives to these guys on Sundays.
I've been chasing these rates. Shipping rates are nuts, and it's constantly changing, and it's whack-a-mole.
Do you not use a service, Gary, that shops that for you?
I do. But it's also, I don't want to ship to like 3 different, when I'm taking a group of packages. I'm gonna have to go to like all these different shippers.
Well, you don't have to if you just cross out, like, it'll just show you the cheapest. Like, it always shows me UPS is the cheapest, but I won't go to the UPS store, so I'll scroll down because usually I'm doing priority mailboxes. So you can pick, you don't have to take the default cheapest. The reason I like Pirate Ship is because my buddy Lefty EDC made the fatal mistake of shipping back a deadlock in a soft pouch, and it got crushed. And he'd filed an insurance, or he'd done insurance through Pirate Ship. Well, the USPS notoriously is bad about paying out insurance claims. Pirate Ship paid it in 30 hours. Then he just had to get Gavin to make one to replace it, which was harder than getting the claim. But it does save money a little bit. And
I was told to use that for shipping shrimp.
Anything to ship. I just think it's it's an easy to use platform. You can choose FedEx, UPS, whoever, and you can do it by rate, and it'll categorize it based on where you're shipping and what weight you're shipping. But I'll just bypass UPS because, again, I don't want to take packages. I want the mailman to pick them up when they come here.
Well, see, the problem is, though, when I say, like, if I ship a beast to certain parts of the country, it's going to be $16 with USPS, and it's going to be $7 with UPS. And
right.
You multiply that by 20 or 30 knives.
Well, see, that's when I make the call. That's when I make an easy call that it's worth me taking a load down to UPS, right? I mean, I don't like to go to different places, but if one's going to save me a lot of money and it's not going to cost me more in gas to get there or inconvenience, I'm all for it.
Yeah, but the crazy thing is one day it's like that, and the next day they're both the same price.
It's a fact.
Prices, it changes so much, and chasing it down. But for the most part, I use UPS and I use USPS, and I don't insure any knives I send out.
Well, they say insuring them puts a stamp, steal me on them. They say that's the best thing is not to insure them. But if you're shipping one, if I feel like I'm shipping one that's $400 or $500,
that, though,
what's that?
If I would have insured every knife that I sent, I'd probably be $10,000 into insurance by now.
Oh yeah.
Guess how many knives I've had to replace?
None.
Two.
Yeah, I mean, if I can understand not using insurance, because won't the post office like give you up to $100 regardless or something, or do they give you any value for a lost package?
I think if you do priority, there's an automatic $100 or $50 or something.
But like you say, the chances are so low that it's not going to make it through. It's just when I'm shipping, or like when he shipped that $1,000 deadlock, it made sense. Even though they say if you're shipping a real expensive knife to a modder or something like that, that by insuring it, people that are unsavory in the post office know what to look for valuable goods. And I don't know if I told you, but Tri-State, Cole, who has a channel, about 4 years ago, a week before his wedding, shipped 2 of his favorite knives to knife modders out in California to get modded. Well, in California, they've evidently got a shady post office in this area, and this company was known for modding knives. So when his package showed up to knife modders, they filmed the unboxing to share with Cole. And Gary, they had weighed the package and put just enough miniature bottles of body oil in the package so that the weight didn't change. When they unboxed it in California, it was like 14 little bottles, various sizes of body oil instead of his 2 knives. So it was like a sophisticated scam.
Yeah,
but now you put their names on there when you ship them stuff, because they'd had that happen several times. It was definitely an inside job. There's no way to pull off something like that multiple times without it being an inside job.
Yeah.
B Shady, you want to tell us some more about that K329? How about you, Gary? You know anything about K329? Or is he just making that one up?
No, I think I know what it's like. It's like a bowler version of an ANSI steel. Was it which one? K129?
329.
329. There we go. That's pretty low chromium. Yeah, I'm not sure what it is.
He said it's been fun on a bigger blade.
Yeah,
so
it's only got
tough.
0.52. So, you're only going to get, you probably barely, you may not even get into the 60s with it. Like max.
But would that mean it could still be more
61.
tough?
It would be tough, yeah.
That's cool. I wonder why what makes it any different?
It's K series steels from them are usually carbon type steels. Yeah. It's probably nice. But it would be like it'd be a pretty entry level steel. Let's put it that way.
So when these guys are mixing up these different steels, and I guess with chromium, you're increasing your stain resistance, and with carbon, it's more, carbon steel. But are they still trying to find out where those perfect mixture points are to get like with Maximax being probably the coolest thing to come along in terms of balancing those out? Is there a science that tells you when you add this, you're lowering that? And
yes,
I would think so.
Yeah, like there's predictions, but it doesn't always turn out like you predict exactly. So, so it's a lot of a lot of these grades of steels, even some of the CPM grades, they've been around a pretty long time, and so there's newer ideas about metallurgy and whatnot, and that's kind of what Laren's bringing to the table.
Well, he's a refreshing personality, and his website's full of great information.
So what is he actually doing different than other people have left alone? Where is he digging that other people haven't already? Or is he just digging deeper?
Well, a lot of the steels that we like for knives weren't made for knives. They were made for bearings, or they were made for molds and these other things. He's really dialing in things specifically for knives. And there are some steels like that, like the S30V, S35, S45. Those were specifically designed for knives. But a lot of these other steels were not. And so this is really the first time that some steels are coming along where they were purpose designed. And so you're balancing the properties specifically that you want for knives.
For knife usage. For example, Bugsy, one that Shane doesn't like that I really like is 20CV. And he said that was made for tools to cut plastic, which is what I cut a lot. And they've been adapted for knife use. Laren is diving in from a metallurgy standpoint. He's got the science to develop steel specifically for like pocket knives or fixed blades, where before, because think about where the money is, they've been developing stuff for where the mass consumption is going to be, right? Where your people are buying tons of tools to, put in machines or other aerospace stuff. So to find somebody that's focusing on knife steels is just, to me, exciting in its own.
Yeah. No, I totally dig it. And I like talking to him too. He's pretty cool. He's a little quirky guy. I like that.
Yeah. And he speaks English, even though he can speak science too.
You know what else it is too? He's confident. He's not like but he's not like a dick, Yeah. He's assuring. When he's telling you something, you can rest assured that you're getting valid information.
Yeah, but you know what's interesting? Are you talking about Laren?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when he first came on the scene, it was pretty remarkable how there were some folks dismissing him. You know, namely like a Mike Stewart, but a lot of people that had a lot of, some of whom had a lot of clout, but were just basing stuff on wise tales. That, you know, he's really brought, you know, better factual, scientific data to the conversation.
That they probably don't like, that could very well dispel a lot of those myths that they've been living under.
Yes. Or demystify something that you have people convinced, you know, is super special, or, you know, these kinds of things. So, yeah. But it was amazing. You know, here's a guy with a doctorate degree in metallurgy, grew up with a knife making father, and, you know,
I'm
there
sure
was
maybe-
a fair,
People still don't want to listen.
yeah, and there's still some of that out there. It's not as much as it was.
Well, I'm sure it's given him a lot of resolve and helped harden him into his science, which has probably not been pleasant for him, but it's probably made him better at what he does.
Yeah, you know what was actually pretty.
What's that?
Might have
Was,
lost him. Oh, okay.
There, he came back.
One of the things that really made him, I don't know, that bothered him was when Survive was saying Magna Cut's actually terrible, you know, and it's ruined our company.
Oh, I remember. I saw those videos when all that was going down. He was slandering them
Yeah,
to
that
cover
was
his ass.
that really, you know, I think that really affected him in terms of, you know, this is sort of his project. And
Do you think a lot of it was coming from, it didn't cast doubt on what he knew? Did he just kind of know that he was up against somebody that was trying to use it as an excuse, or was he just also getting doubt thrown in his plate?
well, he knew what was what.
Okay.
He knew that guy from Survive was making a mountain out of a molehill. But you know, but the average listener didn't, and especially Survive had their fanboys in the same way that Dark River has their fanboys.
Yeah, and they were vigilant. Those people get vigilant.
Obvious. They do. I'd say they get pestilent.
Good better word. Better word.
A little more biblical.
But they yeah, but it's that's when I did that video about basically saying you got to understand what some of this guy's motivations are on blaming steel, but there's so many holes in his story that just don't add up. And at that time, I was also somebody who had worked with a lot of Magna Cut.
And you hadn't seen any of those issues that were allegedly happening?
No, I saw some of them. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it was like not the end of the world. You know, it was manageable. And there's
but you were able to probably
production.
You were probably able to see through that rhetoric because of your experience with it, where the everyday user was only hearing the bad.
Right, because he would put out these videos like every day, make up his own words, you know, he would talk about stuff that he's doing in his shop, that like he developed these new procedures, but there's stuff that people have been doing forever. He just finally figured it out. You know, like, yeah, it was frustrating. It
it's almost you don't like to see karma come around because so many people get caught up in it, but it's almost justified. It just sucks that good people get caught up in it. There's a video, I haven't watched it, and I'm seeing a lot of AI slop. I had some stuff come across yesterday. I ended up watching it because it was the only 3 knives that are made in the USA. And I think they must have had a price because it was all done by computer voice, and it was about a 45-minute video. And it was talking about Benchmade, Buck, and one other. And I think they must have had a cap on their volume because Spyderco is not even in there. It was Buck. Oh, it was Case, Buck, and Benchmade. And Benchmade, they said, was having made, which I've heard since has been true, Redbox, but made knives in China for a while, and then through the error of their ways brought all their production back to Oregon. But I know a lot of companies that make knives in the USA. But again, I'm sure there was a dollar amount. Are those the 3 biggest companies, Buck and Benchmade and Case, in terms of dollar volume for U.S. manufacturers?
Probably.
I'm guessing because, I mean, Spyderco, Golden, Colorado, and then you've got all your smaller makers. You've got your Medfords, you've got your Hinderers. Because it was a clickbaity title, but I've been seeing stuff because I read a lot about YouTube, just trying to learn it. And they talk about start your AI channel now. And I'm just like, get away. I mean, because it's basically you can get your AI thinking on a certain thing and it can just create shit from stock footage. It's ridiculous. And it had like 80,000 views. But it was real. Crazy. It was real. You know, the title was like, made me click on it because I was just curious which companies are and what are they judging that by? Because we've talked about it here before. You know, what constitutes made in America, or how do these people get away with it? That I love that little lesson.
Yeah, it's cool.
You know, it's interesting. I was looking. I got a guitar I brought a guitar I had and traded it for another guitar, and Martin guitars. I was just thinking, they can't say made in the U.S. It'd be like Rolex not being able to say they're made in Switzerland.
You broke up, and I think I know what you're talking about because I've been seeing a lot of that because of the wood where it's sourced.
Yeah, the wood's all sourced. So what it says inside of Martin is handcrafted in Nazareth, Pennsylvania, made with materials from around the world. Right. Because all those neck materials and those all the body materials are usually exotic from other continents. What'd you pick up, Gary? I got a Martin Quad O 28 special Gruen guitar. Like it's out of the custom shop.
Nice. Which was that? Did you go to that big shop down there? That historical shop? What's it called?
Yes, there's several, but yes. Gruen,
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I traded a 62 000 18 that I just didn't like. And so
I just bet the smell in that place is wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, so I grabbed a pre-war D28, $100,000 guitar, played that a little bit. It's like, wow, it's good. Ain't that
outstanding.
Good, but it's good.
There's a comedian, what's his name? They've got a podcast, 2 of them. Mike, he's pretty popular. He was one of Rogan's guys. But last week they interviewed Derek Trucks. You know who Derek Trucks is?
Sounds like a country singer.
No, he plays for Tedeschi Trucks. He is the nephew of Butch Trucks of the Allman Brothers. And when he was 18, he played lead for the Allman Brothers. He's a slide guitar player, plays $100,000 SG that Dwayne gave him. Dwayne Allman back when he was born, I think. But he's probably the quintessential slide player, but he's such a nice guy. He lives in Nashville, but he plays like he's played with Clapton, with Buddy Guy. He's a blues slide dude. And they talked to him. What I found interesting is they're like, how do you get so many sounds? He goes, well, it's just math. He goes, if you think about where people fret, he goes, I've got like 11 places between each fret where he can get a tone with a slide. Some crazy number of just, you know, he can get intonations or whatever, you know, because they were talking about how he makes it sound so cryy. And it's like just between one fret, you can get so many different sounds between like 3 and 4.
Yeah, it's infinite.
He's just a neat dude. And they got pictures of him playing with Buddy Guy when he was like 9. He was this, because they talked about, weren't you cool in school? He goes, I was the biggest geek. He goes, when he was in 6th grade, CNN followed him around school. And that's back when they had cameras and they had to set up shots and stuff. And he said 3 of his buddies even knew that he played guitar. And everybody was like, why are they following him around? You know, all the kids, because I guess he's probably 10 years younger than me. But a neat guy. And I just thought of that when you said that, because they asked him, why do you play SGs? And he's like, I don't play SGs. I've got an SG. He does have a backup guitar for if a string breaks, but you see these 80s touring musicians who have tons of guitars.
Yeah.
These purists are usually playing one unless it's done, and then they get somebody to fix it while they're playing the other one.
Yeah. Yeah, all my friends are musicians, really into it.
I just play for me now, but I love it. I've always done. I'll do it till I can't make a chord shape anymore.
I already can't.
Well, you use your hands for real work.
Yeah, my hands are destroyed.
Yeah, but it's cool. I mean, that is, you know, that's the guitar shop that Eric Clapton goes to. You know, like,
oh yeah,
it's a epic guitar store, and the model I got is the guitar store's special custom model that they order from Martin. It's got an Adirondack spruce top, and it's really nice.
Congratulations, buddy. That's sweet. That is very nice. Yeah, and you just think of the people that have walked through that guitar shop. Not just Clapton. I'm sure everybody that's come through there has gone through there that's a player.
Now, another place you can see a lot of famous people is the Martin Guitar Factory itself, which is only half an hour from my house.
And I guess they're flying people up there to do stuff.
Oh, all the time. Like when I was there just recently on a tour, Wallflowers were there. You remember them?
Oh yeah, that's Bob Dylan's son, right? Or no? Jacob Dylan, is he the lead singer? No, somebody else maybe. But I know who the Wallflowers are.
Yeah, it's the one where the lead singer died, but it was the rest of the band. But any given day, it could be somebody like that there. It's an epic place. It really is.
There's just so much history there. I mean, that's the thing that I don't get excited about it, but the old guys that come into the knife store. And today I saw one person when I walked in, he was picking up a knife. We didn't have another person walk through the entire day for Friday. That's so weird. But anyways, these old guys that come in and look at these $2,000 case knives that look to me just like a case knife, they're talking about the history of the knife, which I can understand that in a way. You know, the stories, if this knife could tell stories type of shit you hear them mumbling about. I think that's kind of what they're interested in, you know, the ghosts and the experiences. And this Nick is telling a story. I don't know what the story is, but that's beautiful.
Yeah, I like slip joints. I like handling them. I like the idea of them, but I don't like them much as a cutting tool.
No. I agree.
It would take a very special slip joint.
Better.
I like the modern ones that are like flippers. They look like slip joints.
Yeah, like the
or something.
Like pinas or the
and then you can get like get something with like a real nice steel.
Wolf does something like that.
Yeah. And Finch did some good ones. I have some. Well, Finches are different. And I'm saying that because I've got 6 Finches I'm trying to sell. But they were kind of traditional, but modern. That's a sweet shaman.
Yeah. This was a seconds shaman. See the little nick.
Little nick. I wonder what they're going to have this year at Blade Show. That's what you really got to get there Thursday to see what the good gettings are from the second sale. And I never go to Spyderco first for some reason.
Yeah, I always go check out Spider. I always work my way. That's how I start the room. I go to the left,
Pass Hinder and go on around.
I go all the way around, and then I start hitting the tables.
See,
So where I am
right.
is like, if you go in,
Gary hit a dead spot when he was giving us directions.
Go in and
You back, Gary?
Not yet.
cut out a little bit.
Yeah. We lost you. Said you go in and then you went dead.
You go in, you go to the right, and then the first aisle on your left, go back. I'm about 2/3 of the way back.
Okay. So before you get to the wall, you take a right and then you take kind of like your first left and go back about 3/4 of the way.
Yeah, roughly. Yeah, it's over in that section.
Do you think Laren will ever get like a table or a booth and sit there and talk steel with people?
He mills around the whole show. He usually stops by my booth for a while, my table, I should say. And he's all over the place. He spent a fair amount of time with Pops because they developed 2 steels with him. They sold his book. They sold his book.
So he's doing networking stuff more than just staying in one place.
Listen to this detail.
Yeah.
That's insane sounding. Is that a double D10 or how's it?
Yeah.
That's crispy.
Dig down. Yeah, I don't know what
So
to
now
bring
it's
the blade.
raining in Pennsylvania.
Oh
Yeah.
no. I need to check and see what the weather's going to be doing here.
It was raining on me on and off all damn week.
It rained here too.
I was working on these big ass oil tanks. Everything, as soon as it rained, man, everything was like a dam. It was like an ice rink.
Oh, I bet. And are you up there high or are you on the...
I mean, they were like 50, 60 feet tall.
Yeah, so you're up there high.
Yeah.
The Microtech M stitch, what's that look like, Mikey Bobby? Let me pull that up. I love the stitch.
M stitch.
I had a stitch. I sold it. I liked it and I didn't.
Too big?
Too much knife with too little blade.
Oh, it's smooth aluminum.
And sort of a dorky design, in my opinion.
Oh, it's less expensive. What is it? Appreciate the stitch. And defines it into a more compact package. It's a smaller stitch. Here it is. At Blade HQ, it's $273.
I don't mind the manuals, but yeah. See, again, I'm not gonna like that lock. I know
7.125 inches though. That's a lot shorter, which would make my hand a lot easier to get to that lock.
Yeah, but you know what? Look how thin that blade's gonna be right behind that finger choil.
Oh yeah.
Like that's a false choil. That'd be a problem for me. Because I would want to slide my finger up there, and I know I'm gonna be eating that edge.
And I'm telling you, those are some of the sharpest knives out of the box in the folder. I mean, they're scary sharp.
Yeah,
Kevin,
like when
knives, what's up, brother?
when I feel the choil up here, I usually will just slide my finger right up in there and not think about it. I know I'm bleeding if I get that in them.
Yeah, Mikey, it's smaller. It looks sweet. I need to check and see if the guys have been able to order them. That's what's weird about being in a knife store. They can't order them right when they come out. They kind of have to wait. I think the big guys get them first, get the first runs. I think they get to order them earlier. Or they buy more, which could be the very simple fact. I'm all for a little smaller. That MSI Mini's perfect.
I want to get one of those, but they're only in like more expensive materials right now.
We've got 3 in aluminum. We've got an OD green. We got an OD green and 4 black handles. They're right about $320, I think.
Yeah,
Now the
but
Morpheones
full-size
are
one
like $560.
isn't the full-size one under 2?
Yeah, it
with
is,
the,
but I don't think they're doing any FRN. I think they're just doing aluminum and titanium. I don't think they're doing any of the low, like the G10 or the FRN like they did in the first run of MSIs. But they may down the road.
Yeah, I might get an aluminum. I might trade a dealer, one of my dealers. Is the owner of your shop going to be at Blade?
The young guy is. I want to make sure you meet him. Tate Estes is his name, and I'm going to bring him by for sure.
Yeah, you got any?
The young guy is?
The young guy is. He owns 20% of it now. He's going to be the future of it in about 3 years.
Okay.
But he's still the one that John sends over there to find people. You know, I told you last year the problem with TRM was their margin. I mean, they walked away friends and stuff, but he was just trying to figure out how to make it work space-wise.
You guys don't have any Creelys down there yet?
We don't have any Creelys. We have, what I've learned is, I always thought, well, it's a big store. Surely you can put a few more knives in here. But when you've been down there a while and you look under the glass, they need, and they're trying to buy 4 little small kind of jewelry cases that would hold maybe 7 knives each that they could put between. They got this one walkway where you could put a little island set up there that was a display. But right now they just don't have the display area. Every case I have is like, you can't, I cut myself once a week just reaching in for a knife. It's dangerous.
Yeah.
Because I mean, they can store a bunch of knives in the back, but if they're not where they're merchandised, it's just kind of like, you know, because he's got his, I think, gold and something that ties up a lot of his cash is when he buys these estate sales. A lot of them he can't put out. A lot of them he's got to recondition quite a bit. And it's just a process. You know, the new ones that comes in, and they just picked up, I don't know why they did, but they picked up Flytanium. And right now that's taken up 2 feet of space, and the only things selling are Balisong trainers for $64.
Yeah, I mean that kind of thing. I'd probably better off on a website, you know, because Flytanium you can look at the whole catalog and kind of. Yeah. You don't really need to put that out for people to see it, you know.
No, but and that's the other thing that they don't do is they don't have a website.
I mean, I would have a website just to have, maybe not like if you don't feel like selling on the website, I would just have like my inventory on the website so people could see what, you know, what brands at least I have, you know.
And they've got a Facebook page that kind of says that, but you're right. It needs to be a website. But then if you do a website in 2026 and you don't have it an e-commerce site, you're almost looking like you're incompetent there too. It's almost.
No, I mean, but it could be, you know, you're trying to get more foot traffic. So.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing about him that's so frustrating is he doesn't need more foot traffic. I think he does. I think you can always take more foot traffic.
And he always need more customers.
And I don't know if he's just getting, well, he's getting more customers. And I think a lot of it is from his buying of knives and his reputation for the last 20 years of being the guy that does that very well. He's kind of become a destination store. And it's kind of rare. I mean, I think he's on his 21st year now of being in a brick and mortar successfully selling knives.
See, just as like a consumer, like I don't necessarily want to buy stuff online from stores. I want to see what they have in stock. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So I can go there and I can look at like 3 or 4 of the same kind of thing
and know what you're going when you walk in, what you're going to be looking at.
Yeah, because you know a lot of times around me, to go even 20 miles takes an hour.
Right.
You know, all the traffic and the bullshit, like.
You don't want to get there and not see anything that you don't know what to look at.
Right. Like, so like there's a couple knife shops I have to go visit, but I just haven't gone because, you know, it's going to be the typical stuff. I think. Anyway, that
We get a lot of calls each day for people asking for, specific stuff. Because a lot of times you'll call down there and they'll have it. Chris Reeves is a big one. And Chris Reeves don't stay in for more than 14 days typically. Those knives turn around pretty quickly.
Yeah. I mean, I think they kind of limit their production.
What's up, buddy?
Create
Y'all
that
say hey to
scarcity.
Tire Shop.
More so with a guitar than a knife, but like you gotta like buying, especially acoustic guitars, buying them online is crazy.
Oh,
You gotta
yeah.
play those. And like
I wouldn't feel comfortable buying electric even if I had somebody to set it up.
yeah,
More
so
comfortable, but I wouldn't want to.
so the guitar I ended up getting, it had been sitting there for a while and the strings were completely toast. And I was just like, can you put new strings on here so I can hear what this actually sounds like? And they're like, yeah, we can do that. And they put new strings on. And I was like, okay, yeah, this is good. But with the old strings,
You
and
don't, you
different
weren't hearing the resonance that you were supposed to hear.
yeah, they were just, certain people have a lot of acids in their sweater and their fingers and whatnot, and that can pretty quickly destroy strings. And so, yeah, that's why it didn't sell for a while. And it's a unique shape too. But anyway, same way with knives. I'm willing to pay a bit of a premium to a brick and mortar if I can handle it, and especially if it's something special that
Because you're
they
probably
order
not going
in.
to find somewhere else.
Yeah. Like if you went into Freight and Lock and got one of those Technos, I guarantee you, Bugsy, if you went into that shop and you saw that Techno and you were fidgeting with it, you'd buy it.
yeah.
Regardless whether it was an ideal timing for the money.
Yep. Yeah, I would have made it work.
But online, it's a lot easier to just,
Yeah, especially with Sezzle and stuff like that. I mean, I used to Sezzle stuff, even though I had the cash. It was just less of an impact on me. I was just like, I'll just pay for it over 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just lie to myself.
I did a watch that way. Recently.
It works great. I mean, it really, if you're planning for it, it's it's for me when I bought my Medfords, I'd use Sezzle because it was easier to pay $260 every 2 weeks, I guess it was, than it was to drop, 800 something bucks.
Well, the other thing is that I liked about it, I think I did like a 4-pay or a 6-pay on something. Not so much that I couldn't afford to just pay for it, but like it's a mental block in my mind that I can't buy anything else until I finish paying that off. So it slows down me getting something else.
Exactly. That's the child that is coming out. Exactly right. That's so accurate.
That's the limiter.
You didn't allocate that much cash in one sitting.
Right. This is rather than buying, a knife every other week, or a watch every other week, I'm gonna get this little more expensive one and not get one for a while.
And I got to where I could really justify that, where my buddy Dark Gravity was telling me, dude, just quit buying budget knives and you'll be in a totally different world. And he was right.
Yeah.
I sent him a link. Hopefully Dark Gravity will pop on before we have to go. But who knows?
I don't know what qualifies as a budget knife anymore. Where is that threshold?
For me, it's higher than most. For me, anything under $100, I consider a budget knife. Most people say under 50. I don't look at a lot of knives under 50. I've had a few that are impressive for what they are, but $100 and under, and of course, a $30 knife weighed up against a $60 knife, you've got to consider that value difference.
$40.
Yeah.
That's a deal.
Resilience. If you can beat the resilience line, of knives from Spyderco, you're talking serious value.
Because that's bigger than a PMT. That looks like military size.
Yeah, it's huge.
That's a lot of Chinese D2.
Yeah, it is big though. But it's a good value for that money.
Yeah, I've been beating this thing up for 15 years. Still in great shape. It's the only knife I haven't moved the clip.
Yeah, I have a very early one of those. I have another Spyderco, Chinese Spyderco. It's very interesting. They didn't make it for long. It has BD1N as the steel. I forget what it is.
So with the stainless handles, right?
No, it has a kind of a different sort of micarta or G10, different color, like a blue, a light blue. Can't remember, and I'm not home, so I can't grab it. But it has BD1N steel. It felt to me a step above, like the resilience type line, in terms of like
The
just a
overall
little more
weight.
refinement.
Yeah, the ones they make with the titanium handles, the what is it, the Resistance or the Ambitious, or I can't remember what it is. It's the smaller one, step down from the Resilience.
The
Tenacious.
say that again.
Tenacious.
Tenacious.
Yeah, that's.
I handled a titanium, like there was no liners. It was just titanium. That was really nice. Like that was really nice. I wasn't expecting it to like it so much. I was gonna look at it because my wife likes that knife, and that one was. I almost bought it. If it wasn't, I forget what steel it was. It was something like just really unimpressive. I think it was BD1, something like that.
Could have been our 8CR. A lot of those are 8CR.
Yeah, it was different because it was a titanium handled one. But I was hoping it was like, something a little more interesting. But
Is BD1 a Spyderco exclusive thing that they're doing?
No, that's just a carpenter steel.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they're just doing their cheaper ones in that now, right?
Yeah, they do. Well, there's BD1 and then there's BD1N. BD1N is better. Has nitrogen in it. And so like that Shaman lightweight is BD1N.
Okay, I thought it was BD1. I didn't know it was BD1N. I know I like that knife.
Or maybe it was BD. Maybe it is BD1. I can't remember.
Let me see. Let me pull it up. Because I don't remember either. I look at them so quickly. Oh, man. Lightweight. I still think the best value we've got down there is the MagnaCut Manix 2 at $189.
This is a MagnaCut for $140.
It's BD1N.
Yeah, BD1N. Yeah,
It is BD1N. $180.
See, I just don't. I can't get down with these prices anymore.
No, they get. Let me find this Manix 2.
If it's anything over $150, I start really questioning myself.
And that's probably wise. I mean, you're looking for. Yeah, here's the one. We've got one of these in stock, but they're sold out at Blade HQ. But this knife, SG10 and MagnaCut.
It's a sick looking knife.
It is.
And if I was gonna get a Manix, I would get something with those kind of scales because I like the grip on the scales.
They feel really nice.
Yeah, I mean they're a little rough, but they're.
Well,
they're
I'm
nice.
a modder. I would get rid of the liners, get some scales, and just have a nice blacked out MagnaCut blade. I look at
the Magnamax Mako with 3D scales and Kydex is going to be $235.
that's not bad at all.
No, but it's a small fixed blade for $235. It is a little. I'm not saying it's not worth it. It just like for people who aren't don't know what it is. You know.
Right.
Yeah, Gary, I'm probably gonna have to get another Mako because my son has claimed mine.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's his knife now.
Ah, okay.
The Mako is his favorite shark, and his favorite color is blue. So the blue G10 on the Mako, he sold.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
it was too perfect.
Yeah, it's his little like lightsaber. He's like, I told him it cuts like a laser. He's like zoom 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 with his little fake.
He lasered it up.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well,
he's
it'll
funny.
do. It'll do
And
it.
it's funny because now he knows who Gary is. So like, he like he's putting two and two together. He's like, that's Gary's knife. He's like, but now it's my knife.
That's a fact, Jack.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's what those knives cost, Gary. I mean, they're all going to be. I look at this knife here, which is a production knife. It's in the 270 range in S45. My knife is 289 in Magna Cut.
Yeah. I mean, you're not going to find too much like that with Magnamax for that price.
And it's just a very utilitarian design. I mean, it's a fantastic tool that'll probably rarely need to be sharpened. I would imagine the Magnamax.
Oh, yeah. It should be. It's going to be a thing. Magnamax is going to be a thing. I just don't have 2 more sheets of it. So I got what I have in process, but now I got 2 more sheets coming, which would be about another 200 Makos.
Depending on how you break them out, are you going to do all Makos with it, do you think?
Probably. You know, I got all the infrastructure for the Mako, the scale, Kydex. It's a good size. You know, people seem to really like that size. So,
Congratulations, Knife Nut. That's awesome, buddy.
I just remembered there's a whole thing of knives I'm missing.
When you say a whole thing, like a roll that you took to work, or
like a case like that I used to carry around to a blade show. I had like 5 or 6 knives in it. Now I'm trying to think.
It's probably wherever you unpacked your blade show stuff last year and you haven't seen those knives in a year and you're just now thinking about it.
I know. I bet it's in my truck. I bet you it's in my center console. I'm going to go check now. It's going to bother me.
All right. We'll keep it held down. I know how it is.
Take my phone with me.
I left my keys at work yesterday. It drove me crazy. And they're not even my keys. They don't let me in my house. They're just, I have a series of little things that I wear around my belt that are titanium that will release them for cabinets and stuff. And I left them in a cabinet. I had to pick them up. I just felt like an idiot because I never leave stuff like that behind. I'm very good about keeping up with stuff. And as scatterbrained as I am, that's a testament. How far are you guys coming in, Gary? Are you a couple hours?
We are 85 miles out, an hour and 20 minutes.
Oh, that's not bad. Have you all had dinner yet? I guess you have. It's late.
Yeah, we got some brisket at Buc-ee's.
Nice. I've yet to walk into Buc-ee's, and we've got one about 30 miles north of me now. And I'm not pulled off the highway on my way to St. Nick's Knives to go in there and fight the crowd, but I've heard only good things about it and hectic things.
It's a spectacle.
Just more stuff than you'd ever expect to see at a gas station.
It's like a gas station, food store,
gift shop.
Gift shop, yeah. Combo. And they try to curate pretty interesting stuff.
And aren't they very well known for like having the cleanest bathrooms? Isn't that one of their claims to fame?
Yes, that's one of the claims to fame.
I mean,
bathrooms too.
And there are things that you can do to set yourself apart that make a huge difference. Because from what I understand, they've been wildly successful.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. We bought a bunch of stuff. They got a lot of their own OEM like snack products, like beef jerky and beaver nuggets and
Right. Private label
trail
stuff.
mixes and chips. And I mean, yeah, they got a lot of private label stuff.
That's a smart way to do it. I get these other crazy things on my YouTube feed about companies, and one of them is the story of the McDonald's company, and it talks about them learning early on that it wasn't about hamburgers; it was about real estate. Have you read up about
Right.
them?
Yeah, yeah,
It's just fascinating the way different people, look at their businesses. And then there's like, I haven't watched it, but one on the Daisy BB gun company that was evidently a tragic family story. I didn't watch that one because it was clickbaity. But stuff like the Schwinn bicycle company story,
yeah.
all these stories of big companies that, evidently turned south at some point and didn't correct, or they were put out of business by other things, other forces they couldn't anticipate.
Yeah. Martin's one of the rare survivors.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Gibson's, I get a lot of Gibson content now. They're in the shitter, it seems like.
They've had some pretty poor ownership management
For a while
stuff
now,
going
haven't
on.
they? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like out of one and it's the other. Like, for instance, they had this bright idea that they were going to make every Gibson Les Paul be a auto tuner, robotic tuning thing. And it was disastrous.
I can imagine. I can absolutely imagine. What a clunky mess.
Right.
Don't they know people like to reach up and tweak their G string when it goes flat?
Yeah, and the technology, it wasn't reliable enough. I mean, there's a little bit of give and take and human touch you need with tuning.
Oh, I agree. Absolutely agree.
Like you can turn it and there's no change, so it's sort of just bound up in the.
They're slack. Yeah, you're exactly
so you
right.
gotta stretch the string a little bit and then do it. So, yeah. And who wants to need to have batteries to tune your guitar?
Yeah, and not have that. Now, I do like the little clip-on tuners that they used to not have that I use. I have one on each of my guitars, the little small shark or whatever, snark. And I've got one that's it's got it looks like a strobe tuner, a mini strobe on my acoustic. But yeah, tuning's the way to go. I can tune pretty well by ear, but I like to know.
Yeah, I mean, I could get it close by ear.
Bugsy. You're supposed to be looking for your knives, Goob. But yes and yes. I used to travel through there quite a bit as a young man. Many, many years ago, when I was flying too close to the sun. But that's another thing cool about that little knife store is they'll match online prices, which I don't feel like they have to. I feel like you don't, let people buy other places. And they don't, they're like, if Blade HQ can sell it for that and it's not their brand, we'll match it.
Well, isn't most of your online prices map pricing anyway?
Not really. I don't think so, because the only reason I say that is we have to, in a brick and mortar, you have to have map because they've got a little sign that's not for public can see it, but I'm never supposed to film it, that says you can take 15% off the box for Benchmade and we'll pay your sales tax. So it's like a 19-20% savings off the box. And if you go to Blade HQ, but if you go to Blade HQ's website, it's got that price. They've even got the little mark out of the map. And it's just their everyday price. Let me pull up a Benchmade listing real quick.
Right, but you could put the lower price on the box in your store if you wanted to.
I don't think so.
Than map.
But I don't think you can.
Map is minimum advertised price, and that's not an advertised price. That's a.
Well, maybe it's It's something that has to do with their merchandising agreement. I don't know why that is.
Maybe.
Because they can definitely tell people without them having to ask that, yeah, just look at the box price. And they've got graphs or spreadsheets behind each of the walls at the cash register where it tells you what to ring up somebody, so that they'll be getting their discount and their tax. So if I'm not mistaken, this MagnaCut acid etched 940, I think it's more than $300, but it doesn't show me a price that's marked out there. So it makes me wonder.
So they're giving an additional 50, and how much is tax in Alabama?
It's like 8%.
8%. So you're giving 15 and then 8, so you're really giving 23.
No, because it backs out a different. It's not quite 23. It's
right, because you're selling at a lower price.
Yeah, it's weird the way they do it, because I've asked them, because they're doing free shipping here, but I've asked them, I was like, well, why don't you want me to have that on my on the live stream? They're like, well, Benchmade doesn't mind us discounting it, but they don't want it out there. So I don't know why that is. I'm not a big fan of the way Benchmade and those big guys deal with those smaller guys. I guess they know what they're getting into. They kind of just place them.
You guys are given like 22% off of a Benchmade, but there's probably only 37 or so points of total margin. So
see, I would have thought that. I would have thought that too. Gary, I think Benchmades, there's more than that. I think it's closer to 50. I don't know that. I don't have any. I just know that when I asked the guy, and I've asked him several different ways where I haven't just pinned him down, but I always thought that he's been successful because of his vintage case sales, because I know what he'll buy a $20,000 collection for, $20,000. And I know what all's in that collection when it goes out on the shelf, but he says, no, he says our most profitable product is our Benchmades. He's been a dealer with them. So I don't know.
I think that's a matter of they are generally higher price points and they move very well.
Well,
good volume.
The volume is there. I will say that they sell more Benchmades than others, but they have and sell a lot of Microtech, which is more and has a lower margin. I know Microtechs are much skinnier than Benchmades in terms of selling margin. And then we have Protek, but both of those are not bought direct. I think Case and Benchmade are the only direct purchases they make, and everything else is through Blue Ridge.
Interesting.
I'm still trying to figure it out, and they know me, but they're kind of guarded. The old dude's kind of guarded, and the young dude doesn't know enough. He's so funny. I hope he's not in here, Tate. I really hope John's not in here. But he's got some health issues. He's getting ready to have a couple of transplants. He's going to be a lot better. But I don't know if it's this medicine or what. But the days that he's not off, he and I close. And the older guy leaves at about 3 o'clock. I get there at 2. And by 2:30, he is hard freaking snoring at his desk. I mean, he'll fall backwards. And he can't keep himself awake. It's almost like narcolepsy. And when somebody opens the front door, which today they didn't, but when they do, it dings and it kind of snaps him too. But like today when we got ready to close, I had to go back there and I was like, hey, buddy, I didn't want to wake him up too quick because I don't want him to have a heart attack or something. But he'll just zonk. I mean, he wrecked his car 3 weeks ago after going to get a dialysis thing. He was on his way home and fell asleep and went in a ditch at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So I know it's not something he's doing out of, choice.
Needs magnesium.
Yeah, I mean, he goes to Nashville every week. I mean, for a young guy, he's wrestling with a lot, but he's got the week after Blade Show scheduled procedure that he'll be out of commission for over a month, but he'll be good as new.
Oof.
Hopefully.
So this is my pair of 3.
I like the
Fully serrated.
backspacer.
These are lightning strike carbon fiber. So this is the carbon fiber they use in planes to direct the lightning if it were to hit the plane.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So who made those for you?
Eric Shepard.
Did you get him the material?
No. He just had it, and I was like, ooh, I need that. That's what I do, you know?
That's very
So-
cool. I bet it's light too, or is it more structural than regular carbon fiber?
It's definitely, it's got like a metal mesh in it. It's hard to see it.
I have found a knife that I've never owned a ZT knife. And there's this knife that we got in, and it's not the average ZT, because I know what they used to do was a big, heavy, overbuilt stuff. I don't know if it's 0117. Yes, it's this one right here. I want y'all to look at this knife, and you're going to go, yuck. But I'm going to tell you about it. It's probably the most economical ZT we have in stock. See that?
This looks like a nice little slicer.
It's Magna cut, extremely thin, carbon fiber with very thin liners. You know how much this thing weighs? 1.9 ounces.
Wow.
I mean, you put it in your pocket, you don't even feel it. And the snap, this is just like an Axis lock. But it's so thin, blade thickness 0.10. I don't think it has handle width. But it is a very neat little light knife. And it's super slicey. But I've never seen a ZT I really liked. And I kind of like this knife. When I first saw it, I didn't. I reviewed it because I just wanted some content. And I was amazed by how light it was.
There's some nice ZTs out there.
There really are. Now, what
They're
I
earlier
don't
stuff.
understand is the Hinderer ZT collaboration. It's only like $30 cheaper than a Hinderer. Granted, you're getting a carbon fiber scale, but I'm not saving a ton of money on the ZT. I'd much rather have a Hinderer XM18 at $4.25 than for $385 a ZT Hinderer collab.
Yeah, I haven't really handled too many Hinderers. I'm not sure they're like great out of the box. You know, I don't know if they're. I know the ZTs are pretty damn nice, like brand new.
I think you'd love a new Hinderer because with the Tri-Way now, they come with the bearings installed, but you can switch them out for phosphorus bronze or Teflon washers. And you being a worker kind of guy, I think you'd love a Hinderer XM18 because it's got such a dedicated choil area, which is not the choil
I
area.
will be back.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually won a big. It's made out of like almost feels like a leather. A big poster, Rick Hinder, signed by Rick Hinder. At last year's
really?
Blade. I won it last year at Blade Show and like the popcorn things.
See that beast?
Yeah.
When you flip it, see how you got this right here in front of the trigger, which you just cover up that. And watch this.
Yeah, nice.
And this is just, I've got this one on the washers it came with.
Yeah, I don't know much about them.
I didn't either. I was never a Hinderer guy. My buddy, Dark Gravity, who goes to Blade Show usually on Saturdays, we met up in Nashville and he had this Hinderer. It had a tan G10 scale on it. This is a 3.0 Battle Black Skinner, kind of a rare blade. And I was like, yeah, that doesn't do much for me. He was like, well, carry it for a week to see what you think.
Cool.
And I carried it to Blade Show, my first Blade Show, and I really liked it. So ended up buying it from him. And within 3 weeks, I bought a full-size XM18. And then I was never a Hinderer guy at all, mind you. But I bought an XM18, then I bought a full-size Eclipse flipperless about 3 months later. I bought a 3-inch Warncliffe and a mini half track. So I've got, and a Jurassic. I've got a shitload of Hinderers now. And I used to not even just like slip joints or fixed blades. You know, there was a long 3 years of me being a knife guy, and I had an SE3 that I bought just to have a fixed blade to go camping. And then I bought that little Tucson TS150 after Lefty showed off his chickadee that I ended up buying. I've got that chickadee now. And something just put me into fixed blade overdrive. I think it's because I found myself cutting with them so much more.
Yeah, and it's, you know, you pull it out, it's ready. You don't have to worry about anything. It's, you know, don't
But
have to
for me,
tighten
it was
anything,
so
loosen anything.
weird because I was always an action chaser guy. You know, for me, it was all about how the knife felt in my hand. There was so much more than how it cut because I wasn't really a use your shit kind of guy. But Paul, you're exactly right. Talk about a big beefy knife with the Sawtooth Dave hollow grind. Check this out.
Yeah, that's cool.
Look at that plunge grind.
Yeah, it probably cuts way better than the original.
That's when he was practicing, dude. You can feel your fingers. He also did my my Cold Steel 8015. Watch this.
You didn't even hear it.
No, I mean, like I said the other night when I was doing a slicey video, I said it sounds like wind blowing through trees with no leaves.
Yep.
It's just, but I mean, look what he did to the.
Yeah, I like that.
I mean,
It's like a compound
and he,
or
he would not let me pay him. I said, dude, I'm paying to ship it back. He goes, I'm just going to refund you. He was like, I'm practicing. You sent me. I was like, no, you did a fucking professional job on a knife that I wasn't using that I use now.
yeah.
You know, a lot of people would say, why would you do that? Well, I still got an 8010. And I think it's cool to have a slicey big ass knife.
Yeah, for sure. Something about that kind of a blade, you know.
It is. And the fact that Sawtooth touched it, you've met him at Blade Show, hadn't you?
I'll
make sure you do.
I may have.
I see him. He's one of the guys that I bump into every year, and he's right up there and one of the greatest humans, like a lot of y'all are. You've got to meet him. He's just warm. You see him, if you ever watched his videos, you think, you know, he's a kind of a gruff machinist guy. No, dude, that guy is fucking sweet. He's good people. He just is. You just get a feeling. You just get a feeling about him. Ooh, that's pretty.
So this was given to me by Dave from Tuya.
Oh yeah, Dave Warren.
Yeah, Dave Warren gave this to me. This is, I don't remember what model this is, but I call it the traveling Tuya because I bring this to every blade show.
I love that blade.
Everywhere I go. This was one of the only ones made of this model that was ground either by him or in the US.
That's sweet, dude. I mean, they make great slip joints. I've never seen that model before. What's that handle material? Is that
it's wood? Some kind of wood.
Okay.
I'm not sure what exactly it is.
Look at that back spring. That's sweet.
It's done really well, and it's a nice. I mean, it's a nice little knife. It's got this little choil here, kind of let you know when you're getting up there.
I'm a Tuya fanboy.
But that hollow grind is sick on this thing. It is so sharp.
I bought my first Tuya before I ever knew Dave. Do you remember this knife, the Big Belly?
No.
This was the first Tuya that I ever saw because I didn't see this, but it had an axis lock. Look how it sucks it up.
Nice.
And it's got the strongest detent. But they call it the Big Belly because it's got a big belly, but it's got this just deep, sick grind. It's a unibody, so it's like an integral carbon fiber.
Oh, that's cool.
Which is just different. And then
I like that kind of stuff.
2 or 3 years ago, he re-released this, or they did, in G10. And this little part right here is metal because it where the axis spring or whatever is.
Yeah, all the mechanisms.
The mechanisms. But this one right here is one of their more recent ones that was a collaboration between this guy called Happy as Larry. Hey, I'm happy as Larry. Check this thing out.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's just...
It's a weird thumb stud thing there, huh?
It's got a huge thumb stud.
It's weird. Is it like cupped?
It's got a center like little divot in it.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like
So
cupped.
it's
like dished
concave,
out.
but it's got jimping. It's flat on the top, but all the way around the bottom, it's jimped. So for a reverse finger flick, it's just money. And then it's also got a regular flipper for that big
And a
blade.
front
The
flipper.
detent's great, and a front flipper. And look at these standoffs.
Yeah, it's kind of cool looking though.
Looks like a piercer.
That's a lot. It's a lot
Yeah.
of shit though.
And it's a thin S90V allegedly blade. And it's under $200.
Yeah,
They just
Dave's a nice guy, man. Every time I see him, he comes
He's
to
a
talk.
very, very, very nice guy. He was I bought the Big Belly before I ever had a channel, and he sold it to me. And I didn't even have 1,000 subscribers. I saw him at Blade Show the second year, and he was like, "Is there anything you want to review?" And I was like, I don't really see anything, because I didn't know, I wasn't into taking knives from people. I didn't know anything about it. But he's worked with me for 2 years, sends me stuff to review. A lot of it I send back. Some of the stuff he lets me keep, lets me give away. But I hated to hear the issue with tools for gents, and still don't know what the verdict was there.
Yeah, I don't know. I was going to talk to him about it if I see him this year. I feel like there's going to be a lot of that thing's sick looking.
That's a collab. That's a two-year shocker.
I feel like there's going to be a lot of people not there this year for some reason.
I think I'm hoping that there will be. Last year, there were a lot of people that couldn't travel for different reasons, but you're right with the global situation, and it's very possible that, who knows where we'll be as a country in a month. I don't like to think about that, but this is a funky knife that to me is just kind of an interesting, basic looking knife. But when you look at it up close, it's an integral. And if you look at the way that this titanium's done, it
goes right in
out.
the swell on your hand.
Yeah, it's amazing engineered knife. It drops, and it's got a regular flipper. It's got a front flipper. Whoops, I hit my hand. And it's got thumb studs. But it just doesn't strike me.
Like that, like spearish type point too.
Yeah, kind of like a spear point, a little thick behind the grind, but it's just, I'd like to see different stuff on it, but there's so much I like about it. I mean, there's so many knives that there's certain things I just love about them, and there's certain things I just wish they had that they're missing. I still like to have a thumb stud or a finger or something to reverse flip something with.
Yeah. The workhorse.
That's a great knife.
Yeah. I just cleaned out a bunch of shit out of here.
What you shaking up? OJ?
Milk.
Oh, milk.
Yes, sir. I'm on a milk kick these days.
I had to drink a ton of milk the other night because I was working at that concrete factory, man, and my whole shit was like just from being around all that concrete dust all day. I was like so dried out.
So milk helps absorb, get that stuff.
Well, first, if I can't find like organic pineapple juice, I'll use milk. Organic pineapple juice is literally better than medicine. If you even have like the slightest idea you're gonna have a sore throat, you drink that pineapple juice, half hour, that's gone.
You were showing your fancy Spyderco Bally song.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen this weird concept?
No.
With the Bally lock?
No.
Watch this.
That's weird.
So check this out. It's got this little.
That's crazy.
This little thing. So when it comes up,
you can do your little spinny flippy
it locks
stuff.
down. Yeah, but there's no stops, no nothing, and it's just a big knife. But it's bizarre because you just or give it one of those to open it. It's called the Hazard, which I thought was kind of an appropriate name.
Yeah,
Knock on wood, I've not cut myself with it yet. The
Yeah, that's
knife
one of
that cut
those.
me the most was my AD-15 with the scorpion lock. Learning to, and I can master that knife now. But I just thought that was a bold design idea.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
And
Actually, on Instagram recently, I saw this really good looking girl. She was sitting there flipping this bally around, and she was actually pretty good at it. And I was like, all right,
let me
I
tell
like
you
where
something.
that's going.
And I've seen, we've got one bally song that's bench made. It's
What's up,
number
Todd?
7 of 100. It's got aluminum handles.
What's up,
I
Rick?
forget how many years it is old, but we've had it for a while. And people come in to look at it. And we had a person call about it that knew all about it, came down to look at it, and it was about a 30-year-old, very affluent looking lady in a skirt who got it out of the cabinet. We handed it to her. She flipped it, has a blue blade. She sat there and just worked it. And it's like, God, I was hoping the handles were titanium. It's like an $1,800 knife. She's like, I thought it was a little low, the price. And I see why now, because it's aluminum.
Yeah,
And she passed on it, but she could work it. And she did not look, if you saw her, it wasn't that she was all that. She was just not what you expected to be able to, I mean, Tate, that young guy, can work a bally song like nobody's business. And that's what got him into knives in the first place. And they didn't have trainers back then. I don't understand how you do it. I mean, I do understand how you can open and close it if you've got one dull edge, but when you let it leave your hand and then catch it, and they're doing all that stuff, see any similarity there?
yeah, for sure. I like that.
That's the Maverick Customs Kaiser collab.
I like the blade shape.
Yeah, I think it's cool.
Got Gary's knife on me too.
Is Gary drinking milk, or is he still with us?
I'm drinking milk.
Oh, you go ahead, buddy. I'm just making
Drinking
sure
and
I didn't
driving.
lose.
Drinking and driving.
Paul, you ambidextrous?
Yeah, G10. That shit looks good.
That does look good. I still like the weight of my 3D printed handle.
Yeah, I like the feel of these.
It's a great feeling knife. And I mean, you can death grip it, and it just feels good. And cutting cardboard with this thing. My dad, I think I told you guys, he gets I order from Amazon because I got tired of going and picking them up for him. But I'll get twice a month. I'll have him send me 2 cases of Boost Plus, which those are 24 boosts. So that's a box I cut down. They're 2 boost boxes in another big cardboard box from Amazon because they put them both in one box. And I'll cut that stuff down. I've got a lot of cardboard over here because I use it on videos to cut just a little bit of it. But this knife and those minnows, just literally, it's scary how they just go through it.
Yeah, it's just
geometry. You know, when you marry geometry with a good steel and a good heat treat, it is noticeable.
It is, Gary. Yeah. What do you think about, because I was trying to, when I did a slicey knife video, I was just talking about my thoughts, and I had some hollow grinds, but most of my sliciest knives are thin flats. Do you think hollow grinds, they really can't be as slicey, can they? Because it gets thicker. And I know slicey is a weird word. I talk about the noise the paper makes when you're cutting it, but
the big advantage to like a hollow grind is that as you sharpen it, it actually gets thinner behind the edge until you start working up.
Ah, gotcha. Where you're not automatically getting thicker because I see.
Yeah. And that's, that's the, you're going to have really good geometry as you're sharpening for a while. And that's the appeal there.
But like if you're never going to have to sharpen it, just as a cutter, flat grind's probably the way to go, right? If it's just sharpness and geometry.
Yeah. If I had to just go with one grind, it would definitely be flat grind. I know a lot of people, thought, we're picking up what Clark River was putting down as it relates to convex, but
convexes,
Yeah,
I owned one convex Boker, but never. I used to avoid convex because I was such a novice. I thought it would be difficult to sharpen, and it was just not something I was used to. I did the same thing with chisels. I've got one chisel grind, just because I didn't understand it. I've got a little Joey Roman.
I kind of when it comes to like my chef's knives and those things, like chisel grind has kind of become my trademark.
Well, I think the way you explained it, it makes perfect sense for a kitchen knife and cutting the stuff that you're cutting. I've got it on a mini cleaver, which I like the way the grind look. Joey makes small EDC fixed blades, but they're more, not really fantasy inspired, but I don't know that there's a ton of advantage in this knife because it's so thick. I'm sure it is.
Yeah. I mean, the downside to the chisel is that it's specific to what if you're right or left-handed.
Yeah, I always wonder what the better way to be, which side it's better to be on. I guess left side if you're right side if you're left.
In the kitchen knife space, you want the bevel to be on the side opposite the hand that you're holding it with.
All right, so if I'm holding it in my right hand, I don't want the bevel on the right side. I don't want it on the left side.
Yeah, because it'll slide off that bevel instead
Okay.
of cut with that edge.
So that it's pushing away what you're cutting.
Mikey, there are a couple of the best place is probably just to go. I'll drop the website and just go to Creeley Blades, because Gary can send you anywhere if you're looking for something specific, I would think. But he's probably got one or can get you one there. Let me drop the link right here.
I dropped off a bunch of knives at Freight and Lock. I'm curious if they still have them.
I wonder if DLT still has you in stock. I know that they were
moving.
moving.
So they call when DLT's pretty good about reordering.
And then I know a bunch showed up at Knife Center.
Yes.
But you've got some in stock there too, right? Or do you keep them in stock?
Yeah.
No, you.
Yeah, yes, I do. Although I'm almost out of Magnamax minnows. Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm probably not going to run the minnows and Magnamax again.
Makes sense, I guess, for what they are.
Because, well, the Makos are just, I think a little less of a niche size.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I found you and fell in love with the knives through my buddy Isaac's little minnow. And then he went out in his truck, I told you, and got his Mako, which to me at first I thought, well, that's a bigger knife because I'd been hanging on to the minnow, and I think I was carrying a chickadee that day or something. This knife is far more in my pocket than the minnow. It sits in my back pocket like the other ones. The Mako's perfect. Yeah. And I thought it was big that night because I'd just been playing with the minnow. Yeah, this is a great size knife.
It's just enough handle to really get some work done.
Yeah. Like, for instance, like if I'm at a steakhouse and their knife is terrible, which is most of the time.
Usually it's like a serrated butter knife.
Right. It's dull. And so I'll either A, bring a sharpener, or B, just bust out a Mako and cut the steak so much easier.
Yeah, I got a Spyderco Capara. That is my going somewhere nice to eat some steak knife.
The Capara is a wonderful little knife. The one thing about that knife that I've noticed is, and it's maybe just me and my finger length, the detent doesn't feel as snappy, or I don't have the finger length. The Creeley site doesn't work on your phone. I'm gonna send you a link to where one is. Are you looking for a Mako, Mikey, or you can't see the Makos? All right, hold on, give me 2 seconds. DLT trading. Mako.
Yeah, we're almost out of Magna Cut Makos.
Let's see what they got there.
I do have quite a few LC200Ns.
They only have 4 minnows. I think they're out of Makos, Gary. DLT.
Okay.
And they're out of 6 micron. They've got 1 and 3 lotion. I can send you, let me send you this. I'm going to send you a minnow first, and I'll find you a link to the Mako on Knife Center. Hold on. Here is a link that you should be able to go to on your phone and check out a minnow. And let's go. I wonder if I send you to this online listing. I bet you can go right here. I'm going to.
PVK has some minnows with G10 scales.
PVK?
Yeah.
He wanted a Mako, though, didn't he?
Yeah.
They might have a couple Makos, too.
All right, let me see.
Although there is links to my dealers on my website, so, and it takes you to like my knives on their website. But.
What's your website trying to download, Gary?
What's that?
He said it seems like it wants to download something when he's on your site.
No, I think it's just, if anything, it's just throwing up a newsletter.
Yeah, I don't. Oh, yeah, it might be that the newsletter pop up. You can X out of that.
Magnamax one's coming. Are you looking for the Magnamax minnows or Makos? The Makos are coming. When, Gary, do you think? Before Blade Show, hopefully?
Hopefully by Blade.
Enter. Yeah. So, here we go. Here we go. All right. They have Makos in LC200N.
I'm down with that.
Also a nice choice.
Yeah, very nice choice. I'm going to send you this one.
That's all the Makos I'm going to have for probably pretty soon for a little bit.
Till Blade?
Yeah, possibly, yeah. I'm almost out of Makos.
Don't forget, CRK comes with a convex edge. My small Sabenza still has its factory edge. Really? Maybe mine's been sharpened because...
Who comes with a convex edge?
CRKs? Do they?
Bark River?
No, see, he says CRK, his Sabenza. Mine's got a very...
Oh, I didn't think so. I thought those were a V-edge, the ones I have.
My Unuzon's a V-edge, but
It's very unusual to put a convex edge on a hollow grind.
Yeah, that's true. That makes... What's up, Mick?
Unless the hollow is like stopped short of the edge for some reason,
Gary,
you know what I mean? And then
Mikey Bobby 82 is asking how much will the Magnamax ones be? I know you said that earlier. The Makos.
They'll be 235 versus 210 for Magna Cut.
Did you hear that, Mikey? 235
$25 premium.
Yeah.
are you also at the shows? Creeley has some sweet deals if you want to make it to a show.
Todd, does it make sense though I would see how it'd be easy, but would you want to do a convex on a hollow if you were making them? I don't know. I'm just curious.
I wouldn't. A convex usually goes on.
Because it's supposed to be because it's beefier.
A convex goes on to a convex grind.
Gotcha. Right. This knife's so sharp. I was making the mistake of just sitting there shaving a callus off my thumb. God, that's just sadistically pleasing. I love sharps. Tell you, I ordered a stone holder like you would for a big bench stone. It's so funny because I put my 4-inch veneers in it because I don't use them anymore, but I've got a good set of 4-inch veneers. And that's what I sharpen my slip joints on now. And I've gotten really good. I took Gary's advice and I ordered some pencils, Blackwing.
Oh, yeah? How do you like them?
Well, they're coming tomorrow. I ordered the 3-pack first because I thought I wanted the pearl, but I wasn't sure. So I ordered a 3-pack that has a natural, which is the hardest graphite. 602, I think, is the number, which is the next hardest. And then the pearl, which is the one I thought I was going to buy a box of 12 of. So what I'm going to do is try them out and then go. I bought the sharpener too, of course. The single use sharpener, the round one. So I'm stoked. You know, I'm not an artist. I don't draw, but I write a lot. So I'm just going to use it.
You're going to like them.
I know I will.
I find them very gratifying. Just the story. Did you go to YouTube and see the story about the company and all that?
Oh yeah. And the people, the history of them and what they've been on the writing side of it. I was so impressed by the story, Gary. If I'd have bought the 12-pack of the pencils, I was already looking at. Now, if you go to their page on Amazon, they've got a whole little kit that has a wooden box that you can keep your pencils in, and you can keep your sharpener. Oh yeah, but they don't sell it on Amazon. But on Amazon, they sell some neat pencil cases. You know, I would never carry a pencil case, but with these pencils, I could see why an organized pencil case would be cool to have.
I like the box that they come in.
Oh yeah, the 12-packs come in that looks like a big incense box.
Yeah, is it? Is there any other way to buy them than in a 12-pack?
Yeah, well, I bought a 3. I'm sure these are broken up by a dealer because it's 3 different lead hardnesses. But I bought 3 for $10.85 just to sample, and then I'll go back and for $34 I'll buy a box of either the pearl or is it the 702? There's a number on one of them. Let's see, it's because the matte was the ones I thought I want, but then when I read about them, those are very soft. Those are more for just drawing and shading.
Okay.
Blackwing.
So I have several of those like field notebooks with leather covers. And I like writing stuff in those with those pencils.
That's what I use. Now I don't buy the actual field notes. I buy the packs of like 40 of the little 3x5s, and then I've got the larger size too. I keep them both in leather journals, and that's what I write in. The ones I got, it's 3 set, and it has 1 original, 1 602, which is the number of the ones you can get, and then 1 pearl. And the ones I was looking at buying was a box of the pearls, and I was going to get the white ones. And they make a woodworking one that's got a square barrel. I've really fallen into the lore of these pencils, and I'm looking forward to trying them out.
I think you're going to like. I like them.
Well, I just like to write. Even though I'm just writing a few ththings down, I enjoy the craft of writing.
I like to sniff the cedar.
I've not experienced that yet. So, Todd, a convex edge would give strength to the edge itself versus a V-grind or V-edge, and would keep it from chipping, same as a micro bevel would as well. I got you.
Yeah, but my take is that, if you put a convex edge on a convex primary bevel, you're going to put a convex edge on like a hollow or a full flat. Yeah, I could see putting it on maybe a Saber. Like what I'm planning on doing with the medium is, having them ground by Larkin, kind of like a high Saber, and doing some of them with a V edge and doing some others with the convex.
And the thickness before you get that bevel, is the convex thicker? Like if you before you went to the V edge versus the convex, doesn't the actual grind differ before you get to that final bevel, if that makes sense? Isn't the convex thicker? Or not necessarily?
Yeah, I mean, it's that apple seed shape, so
right.
There's a lot more support behind the edge. But you're paying a price in sliciness.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the bite. The medium that I did that way, it doesn't have the bite.
Yeah, and you know what I've realized too is, like, when you're trying to cut straight through a material, that convex edge wants to walk like, or I mean, yeah, the convex edge, I feel like it doesn't want to stay as straight through a material.
I could see that.
It wants to kind of pick a direction and kind of roll that way.
Does convex
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead, Gary.
Convex is like, you want to baton wood, you want to do feather sticks. I think it makes some bush crafting tasks easier. And that's why Dutch bushcraft knives likes it.
That's what I was wondering. Was it better against wood? Like if you're doing things around, I would still think of V-edge when I'm feather sticking. I like having that bite, but I didn't know if wood, it might feel a little different because I cut wood less than probably anything else.
Gives you control in wood.
Yeah. I like that really steep flat to a V that almost matches the flat. It doesn't have to be too thin.
I gotcha. That makes sense, Todd.
And
it makes more sense if you're drawing me a picture.
The convex, especially when you are like trying to split wood, that geometry spreads it more efficiently.
Because it's kind of like an axe head on a thinner level, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
it's very much like an axe head, yeah.
Yeah, but again, for me, what I've noticed is if I don't have like a steep, like, V grind on the edge, it wants to start walking away from that center line. So if I'm trying to like baton nice thin pieces, like straight, any kind of convex edge or any kind of really thick edge instead of a flat, it just walks one way or the other. I end up with a bunch of chip pieces, and it's just not really controllable. And that's why I choose to baton over using an axe, because it's way more controllable. I'm not swinging around a piece of metal. The metal's staying still, and I'm tapping it with a piece of wood. I've lost a lot of blood and scars.
What do y'all know about?
I like both.
What do y'all know about BPS knives? They look very similar to a Mora. Buddy, Richard Hopkins gave me this when he was up here. It's got a Scandi grind called a BPS. They sell them on Amazon. They're not expensive. It reminds me of a Mora, but that would be considered a Scandi grind, right?
I like that better than a Mora, and yeah, that's a Scandi. I find Scandis to be a little lazy, though. I don't know.
Yeah. Carbon steel made in Ukraine. These are Ukrainian BPS. I've not tested it or tried it yet or even reviewed it. I did take the Ulti clip off it, though.
I wonder if that's the brand that the cheaper DBK knife is. I think it might be.
Very possible. Because I was surprised at how well the leather sheath looks. Yeah, it is Ukrainian. It is Ukrainian, buddy. Scandi edge works just like a chisel.
I like a Scandi for batoning and wood and like fire starting. I do like it for that.
I haven't found any Scandis to be better than a good full flat.
Well, I'm
I
just
don't
not
know
out.
about better, but it's they have a certain amount of kind of control that I like.
I'm not a big fan of how they bind up if I'm in some like more like wet wood and stuff. Like that full flat really just I use little like WD. I would bring like a small can of WD-40, and if you WD-40 the edges of your blades, it'll blow through wood like crazy.
I think you're spot on, Todd. It was a 1066. Your memory is spot on, my friend. Made in Ukraine, 1066. And it's a clean looking little knife.
I like it better than the Mora because it's got a little bit of that finger protection.
And look at that little leather sheath that you can put a clip on if you want, or straps.
See, like I won't buy fixed blades if they don't have something like Gary's where, you know, you have plenty of finger stop.
Yeah, the Mako locks you in, and out of fairness, the Minnow does too.
Well, you know, in the bushcraft world with bushcrafts and like Kukos, they don't. It's just part of their.
Yeah, I don't like that. I can't.
Part of their
I guess you don't like stab with it, you know, reverse grip stab with it or anything. But I like something there. So even if I'm not looking down, you know, at the end of the day, when you're tired, you've been hiking all day, you're doing some shit, you're actually crafting something that you're gonna use. You gotta go with the safer stuff because you know in the woods you end up putting that through your finger.
That's a mess.
You just ruin the whole trip.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's been a long time since that happened to me, getting cut out in the wilderness to where I had to get back in and get stitches. That sucked.
I don't know if you could see on this finger, the scar's kind of gone away. I crushed this finger from here to across the nail with a hatchet.
Oh,
I was cutting and it got dull and it skipped. It like the handle was too round. So when I hit down with it and I was just trying to take a little piece of wood off, it rolled, like the whole head of the axe rolled in my hand and it skipped down the log right into my finger.
So lucky you didn't cut it off.
I don't know how I didn't.
Well,
I think it was only because it was a little bit long ways that it didn't. If it was flat out on the knuckle this way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I would have been in some serious trouble. It was a shitty night though. All I had was somehow I had loose leaf paper and Scotch tape. It's the only.
That was your bandage.
That's the only thing I had until morning.
And did you have to hike out or just drive out?
No, luckily we just drove out and I didn't even leave the next day. I just cleaned it up, and by the time you get that, because your fingers hurt for such a long time,
right?
When you have an injury to them, but once you get over it, your hands become like just usable again. They don't even give a shit, you know.
Hey guys, said faction started. We're gonna have to cut out early. We've run into it.
I don't know. We're gonna have to maybe we have to fight these guys.
Or we can just let's see what they're doing. Hold on, let's see what's going on over there. Let's do a quick stream tonight.
Yeah, put them up. Put their stream up on your stream.
That's usually what I do. I usually stream tonight for a second and just see what's happening. This is Gary. These guys are usually in our stream. They're funny dudes. They're if you like 6th grade humor, they do it better than anybody. They're master troll.
Real quick, which one are you talking about? Are you talking about the Mako?
So that is, and you'll meet these guys. Well, you'll meet a couple of them at Blade Show. The guy at the top left is Said Stevie. He's a YouTuber, and he has a couple of collaborations with Lynch on some Bigfoot clips. Oh, man. The guy in the bottom who just did jazz hands is Sharif Manganas. He's Manganas Steel. He's the one that came up with the Aurelia. He's made a couple of knives. And the guy in the top right is Mattisfaction. He's just clowny. He's about 7'2". He looks like a Bigfoot that's been shaved if you see him in real life.
But yeah,
But they're good
knife nut.
guys.
Interesting.
What I'll say is,
So-
Yeah.
I don't have super huge hands. I use XL, but they're usually a little bit baggy on me because my fingers are a little skinny. I got a big palm though, but this is perfect, dude. It just see how it reaches just in the webbing and just to the end of my hand.
Mine's
So-
3.5 inches across.
So the only other thing to consider is he put this little lanyard hole here. If you don't like this, if you think that's going to cause you a hot spot, when you put the lanyard in there, or the material for the lanyard, it completely fills the gap. So you don't have that uncomfortable spot. It's well thought out, and it's the perfect size for a small knife. I was unsure personally when I first saw the belly here, worried that it was going to kind of put me in like a weird, try to like force my fingers into a place I don't want them. But actually, when you grip this tight, it sucks the knife back into your hand a little bit, and it seats it really well. You end up reaching pretty high up on. You end up reaching pretty high up onto the blade, but I think it's perfect because that's right there.
I should not have mentioned him as a YouTuber. Stevie will slap me if he plays that back and hears it.
Oh shit!
He spend some time on YouTube. He's not a YouTuber.
Just
Well, guys-
broke my cup.
Oh no, dude, is that what that was?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, brother.
It was a coffee cup.
Hey, it broke. Maybe you can glue it
Yeah.
back together if it's in two parts. It
That
looks
shit
like
almost
it's
came
great.
clean.
It did.
Look how straight that edge is.
Well, guys, I'm going to drop this link in the chat because this is where everybody's going. Everybody is over at Said Stevie's or Said Faction. What's up, Josh? And don't tell him I called him a YouTuber because I didn't mean that. Knife Nut, it's a great knife. It is absolutely fantastic.
What's up, Josh?
How
Yeah, knife nut. I hope that
How
helped out a little
long-
bit. I can put a measuring tape on it if you really want.
I got one right here. What's dimensions is he looking at? That inside grip?
Yeah, he said he's got XL hands, so he's looking at,
All right,
don't
from the front.
yeah, like what other knives do you have, knife nut, so I can kind of throw up a comparison for you. It's the PM2.
This is 3.5 from right here to right here, from point to point.
It doesn't like when you hold it, it looks small, but then when you're holding it up and like looking at it, it looks
Oh
small.
no.
But when it's
It's-
in your hand, it's
Yeah, it's closer to 4. Hold on a second.
it's like just right.
It's right under 4 inches.
And I tell you what, if I
You-
punch somebody in the face with this in my hand,
No,
you're
yeah, it
losing
feels your
all
knuckles.
your shit because it fills up the gap like he took Play-Doh and fucking squeezed it.
And it
and then-
just squeezes your hand into a tight grip.
do you
Yeah, I'm
know
telling
what
you.
one of the differences is also with the scale is the thickness. I found a lot of these small
Yeah.
EDCs, they're making really thin scales, and
Yep.
that's
That causes fatigue. It causes
well-
fatigue.
On a working knife, so if you're doing that, so I was actually just feeling that on Steve's. I was cutting with it, and
Yep.
I like its thinness only because when I cut with this knife, I'm using like a pinch grip. With Gary's knife, I'm not necessarily using a pinch grip. I'm like I can actually like I can really fucking put my hand and squeeze on that thing. It's not gonna roll. It's not going anywhere. Like this isn't gonna roll because it's flat, but it's also
It's not
very
as-
flat.
It's not as filling. Yeah, it doesn't
Yeah.
fill your hand to where it doesn't feel like it can.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty good. It's just not, you get a little bit of belly on that, the
Night
side
El
angle
Cap
there.
Addict. See you next door, brother. See you, Todd. You got any party words, Gary? You guys close yet? How far are you from home?
29 minutes.
Awesome. Bugsy, what you got going? Are you going over to Stevie's or you got plans? Go to bed?
I'll go over to Stevie's, but I gotta clean up a bunch of porcelain now, so
Oh, dude. I hate that. I'm sorry.
it's all good. I elbowed the shit out of it. It went pretty far.
I thought it was a knife when it hit the ground. I wasn't sure what you knocked off because you got so much stuff up there that is, I guess the coffee cup's a good thing to have knock over if you have to.
Yeah, and you know what? The minute I sat it down there, I was like, it's probably not a great spot. but I was like, whatever. I shouldn't be flailing around.
All right, kids. I love you guys. Look out for the guy or gal to your left. Look out for the guy or gal to your right. Look out for each other. Go forward with love in your heart. Always choose debate, not hate. See you guys next door.